Well, the Game Awards 2025 has come and gone, and there were some clear high points, some low points, and at least one award that felt like an obvious snub. So let's get into it. If you like this kind of content, discussions, and live coverage, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and make sure your bell button set to all. It's getting switched to personalized for some people. So they kicked off the event with what was probably for some people one of the biggest announcements of the evening, and it was Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. I think this was an obvious high point for the show, and many people were very excited to finally know what is going on with these games in the Old Republic. Are we getting remakes? Are we getting anything? And apparently you're getting a third game. Now, there's an official interview on StarWars.com, and it states that the game is, quote, still in the early stages of development and creation. So this is a bit of a bittersweet announcement for Star Wars fans. They're probably excited to finally have something official about the Old Republic, but they're probably a little disappointed that it's probably nowhere near to being delivered. At the end of the interview, they did promise that they're going to share more as soon as they can, so there will likely be more information forthcoming in next year. I think it was a great trailer. We'll talk a little bit about show pacing at the end of this, because I wonder what really was the thought here, because they didn't waste much time after the very big Star Wars announcement. They revealed Divinity. They're just calling it Divinity. It was a very gruesome and very adult-themed trailer. I would not watch this with kiddos in the room. And it set the stage for a very, very dark and very grim and grotesque game. It's boasting to be even bigger than Baldur's Gate 3, which makes sense now of why Larian's CEO said their current projects were crazy ambitious earlier this year in an interview. Now, currently all we know is that it is not Original Sin 3. Cromwell on Twitter was being cheeky. I told y'all he was being cheeky when he said they were not working on Original Sin 3, and he took to Twitter yesterday to say, told you it was an Original Sin 3. So in case you missed it, he was asked about, Original Sin 3 because they were doing something with Original Sin 2, and he was like, yeah, we're not working on that. That's not being made. And yes, this was the game for the statue. It's apparently a Hellstone, and sadly, no, the Hellstone did not open, and the CEO did not walk out. He did a little segment, it looked like, on the street corner next to the Hellstone statue, but it didn't open. I thought for sure they were going to roll this sucker out on the stage and have it open up and have the CEO of Larian come out, but it didn't happen. As a reminder, if you guys are here in the live stream right now and you are enjoying the show, be sure to hit that like button, especially if you enjoyed the show last night. Now, the next big announcement, especially for me personally, I think this was the biggest one for me, was Control Resonant. I love Control. I've wanted to go back. I've wanted to replay it, and now I might actually have to. We're in a bit of a lull here at the end of the year, and I think Control is a magnificent game. They're changing the lead protagonist to Dylan, Jesse's brother, which I thought he did excellent in the first game. They're also changing the combat to seemingly being a melee-based combat system, where instead of a gun that's constantly changing and reshaping, it is going to be some kind of a melee weapon, swords, what have you, and I was thrilled when I saw that. The vibe of the trailer was incredible. The game seems like it's going to be darker, scarier, and bigger. The Bureau is now no longer the focus, but Manhattan itself has been warped and twisted. This was probably my favorite announcement of the night. It's probably at the top of games that I'm looking forward to in 2026. Now, another one that I thought looked pretty good was Gang of Dragon. Just a quick mention here, I thought it looked great. It was an in-engine showcase announcement, no real release window, but it looked like it had a very, very cool feel to it. Then the other thing that had me kind of geeking out was the Street Fighter movie. I grew up playing Street Fighter and, shortly fell after fighting games because Killer Instinct is where I sort of lost my love for fighting games because I wasn't very good, but I loved playing Street Fighter. I remember the game fondly. I remember the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they are nailing the vibes with the Street Fighter movie. It's totally passing the vibe check, right? They are not taking themselves too seriously, and the cast seemingly got the memo. Just the air that they brought to the stage, they're goofing around, making jokes about Ryu, and all of that. I mean, Jason Momoa as Blanca, I'm there. You guys know I want to see this movie now, but it really looks fun. It looks like stupid, silly fun. They're not taking themselves too seriously, and I like that. Like, I think if they would have tried to make it a super serious movie, that would have probably been harder than making something that's a little bit more cheeky. You got guys like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. You got like wrestlers in the movie, so it's going to definitely have that kind of a vibe to it. So I actually kind of liked that. The other thing that I thought was exciting is we got a Batman Lego game release date. They did seem to be showing off co-op gameplay for the Batman Lego game, and it will be releasing on May 29th. That was nice to see. The next year is shaping up to be pretty full, like 2025 was. Then the Tomb Raider games, I think they look fine, but there was something maybe stiff or awkward about them. I think they've sort of nailed the classic Tomb Raider vibe. You know, her outfit has returned. I think people are probably going to be happy that, you know, they were worried, oh, they're going to make her ugly or whatever. I don't think anybody could claim that. They clearly were not shying away from sort of reimagining her from the original game. She's very buxom, she's very shapely, and she's wearing the classic outfit. I do think that's a great way to kind of quote-unquote start over, like reimagine the first game with dinosaurs apparently, but there is an awkwardness to some of the scenes and her face and stuff, so I'm hoping they can kind of polish some of that. The reimagined game is coming out next year, 2026, and then the second one is coming out in 2027, so I'm hoping they can kind of make it look a little less awkward or odd. I'm not sure what was going on. Then the other game that I thought looked pretty exciting is called Orbitals. It's a 2-player co-op anime game for the Switch 2. People are like, well, you don't like anime. But I'm like, well, anime has a cool art style. Just because I don't like watch shows or movies. I remember enjoying Akira and Princess Mononoke and Vampire Hunter D when I was in high school, but I never really got into anime. But this game I thought looked very charming and very fun. I love that there are now sort of an increase in co-op games. And when I say co-op games, I mean like games that are literally built and only playable co-op. Like It Takes Two is sort of starting a wave of this, and I think that's awesome. We also got to see Saros gameplay. You guys know I'm an enormous Returnal fan. We're actually doing a fun segment today called Rage Challenge, where we're going to be doing some rage runs, where I'm going to have to pick up everything, and we're going to see how well I fare. I've got like over 160 hours in Returnal, and I love it. Saros gameplay continues to look faster and more intense than Returnal, and I think that's probably going to go hand in hand with the fact that they're like giving you permanent upgrades and letting you pick weapons at the beginning. They're kind of equipping you to be a little bit stronger, so the game itself is probably going to have to be a little bit more intense. Also seems like the story is getting a bigger focus. I mean, there are entire scenes with, you know, characters interacting with each other. There really wasn't anything like that in Returnal. It was very much just Celine and like very, very quick segments. It seems like the game also has quite a bigger budget, and that's exciting. They did do a very quiet 1-month delay for Saros, no longer launching in March, now launching on April 30th. You can pre-order and get in 2 days earlier or what have you, but they did delay it by 1 month. They actually put that in a blog post. Now, the pre-order bonuses include an Astra suit from Returnal, and then one suit inspired by Yote and another inspired by God of War. I think it's cool to see Housemarque and their IP get that treatment, you know, from, you know, kind of the PlayStation family. I always like seeing that, so very much looking forward to Saros. Also, Star Wars Galactic Racer, I think just looks like silly racing fun. Glad to see it's not just pod racing, but like there's speeders and speeder bikes in there. Really, really cool. Just had a great vibe to it from, you know, just Star Wars, right? And that's coming in 2026. There was a game called Out of Words, a very a claymation style game, a stop motion game, and it is strictly co-op. Great to see another co-op game. You guys know I love co-op, and that one looked pretty charming. Phantom Blade Zero continues to look very ambitious and fast, and it's got a September 9th release date. Now, I have a feeling that could slip. That's just a gut feeling. This game seems very ambitious. It seems very fast. A little crazy, right? Maybe a little too good to be true. Like when you're watching the footage, you're like, this seems kind of nuts. If this thing slips at all and it gets closer to Wolverine or GTA 6, I could see Phantom Blade Zero slipping out of 2026. This is just a gut feeling. I've not heard or seen anything. I'm just throwing that out there. Every year we're going into a year of game releases. There's a couple that I always feel like might slip, and my gut's been pretty accurate in the past. And I'm like, yeah, I think that thing is getting delayed. I don't want that to happen for Phantom Blade Zero, but it's a possibility. Now, final good mentions here for you. Leon from Resident Evil 9 is exciting, been confirmed, not just as in the game, but a second playable character with very different gameplay style versus Grace, the other main character. She's going to be more sneaky, trying to get away and hide like you feel in Resident Evil 7. Leon's going to be a little bit more action-focused, kind of similar to the vibe of like the Resident Evil 4 remake that they made. So it's going to be very, very juxtaposed play styles and gameplay experiences. Looks to be a very good time. Now, Exodus gameplay, I'm putting this kind of here at the tail end of the good stuff because it looks really promising. It looks really good. It looks like very Mass Effect inspired, but it's a ways away. And I'm never too keen on wanting to like focus too much on a game like that because it's so far away. I don't like to kind of fixate and get my hopes up on something that I'm not going to be able to play for a couple of years. They are shooting for a 2027 release window. So, looks great. I hope they nail it, but it's a ways away. So, perfect segue into the stuff that was bad. Not much was bad with the show, in my opinion. I thought it was very solid, very consistent for the most part. I have to admit that I don't think the Muppets worked this year. I was, sort of defending it at first. I thought the old guys last year were perfect. It was it was self-aware. They were making fun of Jeff. They were making fun of the event and the games and stuff. I think they just should have done that again. I think Miss Piggy overstayed her welcome, especially with the song. This isn't like a strong criticism. I know that's just there to be like a fun way for them to probably like reset the stage and get things set up production-wise, right? It's a little bit that they do. And I told people, hey, let's chill on the Muppet hate, man. The Muppets are cool. Leave the Muppets alone. This year, I think they pushed it a bit too far. It didn't really fit the overall vibe and the pacing of the show. It felt a little awkward. I think it was funny the first two times she kind of showed up, but then it just felt like it overstayed its welcome. Now, this is sort of related to my other major criticism, and it's about how the show ended. Okay, High Guard is just, it looks terrible. I'm sorry. I don't like to be negative about games that we haven't really seen much of, but we've seen enough of this, I think. It's just more derivative hero, arena, shooter, live service slop. I see nothing about it that's compelling. Nothing and stop doing this when you package your games. Like they're boasting that's going to like change FPS games or something. Like I forget the phrasing that they used. But good golly, why would you say that? Why would you act like, yeah, we're going to change FPS games? After what, 30 years of FPS games, you're suddenly going to be the ones that have really changed it with an arena shooter with heroes and abilities, and you're riding on horses some of the time? Like, this looks like another game that's going to be dead 6 months after release. These guys could have spun off and made Titanfall 3. They could have made something that was clearly inspired by Titanfall. And they chose to make something that looks like a game that we have seen or played before. I don't see this getting any traction. It kind of even looks like a mobile game a little bit. I don't think free-to-play will save High Guard. The public reception is already overwhelmingly negative. Every trailer I found, the like ratio is terrible. Now, I know sometimes like ratio can be very misrepresentative because people brigade against a game. They did this with AC Shadows, and it sold very well. They did this with Ghost of Yotei, and I have it on good authority. Ghost of Yotei is closing in on 4 million sales, okay, in a month. So like ratios on YouTube are not always the best indicator, but this thing was just announced. There was no time for people to mobilize. There was no time for people to brigade and call it woke or anything like that. This thing just got announced, okay? And it's from a team that gamers should have a natural affinity and love for. These are the guys that made Titanfall, right? Or at least they were on the team that made Titanfall. The IGN re-upload of the trailer has 8,000 dislikes to about 1,000 likes. The trailer re-upload on the Game Awards is worse. It's like 4,000 dislikes and only 500 likes. Every trailer upload I found is a bloodbath. And it's because nobody wants these games anymore. Nobody ever really asked for them to begin with. So listen, as a game, we can be critical of it, but when I'm looking at Jeff Keighley, I'm thinking, you thought this was the big final announcement of the night? It's like you and Herman Hulst should have a conversation about like what people do and don't want, because he could have told you, yeah, we tried something like that with Concord, and we had really, really big aspirations for it, and it was a dadgum disaster. There was no reason to put this at the end of the show. And listen, I get it. Jeff Keighley cannot determine what wants to pay the money and what wants to show up. You don't always have a big bomb to drop at the end. but they put Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic and the big Divinity trailer like right next to each other. Those would have been perfect bookends for the show. I think Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic would have been a great way to end the show because it's an announcement trailer for an enormously popular franchise, Star Wars, and a popular game that people have been wanting to know about, like what's going on with the Old Republic and the, you know, the remakes and what have you. That would have been a great showstopper to be like, yep, it's real. And they're working with like an industry veteran that everybody's really excited that he's working on it, right? That'd have been a great way to end the show, especially since they're not showing any gameplay in an announcement trailer like that. There's an art to shows like this, and I really think maybe the only thing I can think is that Jeff had some sort of a contractual obligation to put Star Wars first. I could totally see Disney saying, listen, if we're going to pay this kind of money, we want to be first in line. We want to be the first announcement. And maybe Larian, in a very similar way, was like, we want to be at the beginning of the show. It's possible that it was a negotiation thing. Right before Game of the Year is announced is usually when the viewership is the highest. So that feels like prime real estate for a big announcement. So I don't know what happened. High guard, I think, though, was not the high note to end on. And I will not apologize for that joke. Also, keep in mind, last year, Intergalactic closed the show with a lengthy cinematic trailer. So we went from Naughty Dog announcing a brand new IP to a free-to-play live service shooter. I think that's just a poor decision all around. I like Jeff. I like the event. This did not make sense as a way to end the show. But we got to talk about one more thing here. This is my one more thing. Somebody in chat saying you didn't mention Mega Man. I'm sorry, I didn't think Mega Man was that big of an announcement. Apologies to all fans of Mega Man. I just was like, okay, Mega Man? All right. Like, I'm not mad, but I'm also not like probably even going to play it. I was never a big Mega Man fan. All right, I was more of a Metroid fan. Anyways, I got to talk about what feels like a pretty big snub, okay? But before I talk about the snub, I want to talk about a couple of absences. I'm gonna dangle the carrot so you guys keep watching and keep hitting the like button. Let's talk about the absences. First, what's going on with Half-Life 3? Okay, we had all this smoke, we had all these confident leaks from reliable sources that are not 4chan or Reddit or some guy on Twitter. Like Mike Straw from Insider Gaming, he did, to be fair to him, he did indicate that his source that said Half-Life 3 was going to be announced before the Game Awards, he couldn't corroborate that claim. He suspected maybe they were trying to find a leak, okay? There were way too many people talking about Half-Life 3 that have reliable information about its existence. I believe that the game is real. I don't know why you would skip the Game Awards. I really don't. Unless they're sort of posturing like Rockstar and they're like, yeah, we really don't need to spend that kind of money to market our game. We can just drop a trailer whenever we want. Now, I'd push back on that and say, hey, Valve, Half-Life's been out of the frame for a really long time. You're not Grand Theft Auto. It might have been worth spending the money to be at this event to announce your game. I have no idea when we're going to hear about Half-Life 3. Also, we got nothing from God of War, which I wasn't really thinking God of War until the snitch had that tease on Twitter with the head of Kratos. We also heard that Cory Barlog was there. Kind of weird that they had nothing. I'm not really sure what that was about. Could have been just red herrings. Maybe something else is coming. Maybe there's an event coming up. I don't know. Maybe the snitch is hinting at something else. Other than that, I saw most of what I expected to see, and most of the awards went the way I expected them to go. But the snub of the night, I think, is clear, and I think it's sparking a lot of debate, okay? And I'm going to try and be as clear as I can in my position, because there's a lot of people arguing about this that are coming at it from very different angles, all right? RPG of the Year going to Expedition 33 instead of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, to me, feels like an enormous snub. And I'm going to explain why. I played one and not the other, and I loved Expedition 33, so there's no bias here. I'm trying to be about as objective as I can here. I do not agree with the people that are claiming Expedition 33 is not really an RPG or anything like that. I don't agree with them. The whole gatekeeping of RPG and game genres is a little weird. I think Expedition 33 is an RPG, and I don't think we need extra RPG categories. We don't need like best JRPG, best CRPG, best Western RPG. We don't need that. I think that's a little too much. I think we're straining at a gnat by busting it up like that, okay? So I don't agree with people saying that Expedition 33 isn't an RPG, and I don't agree that like, oh, we need more categories. But I'm going to say this. Based on everything I saw when I played the game and did first impressions, and everything I've seen in the reviews and the breakdowns, and even the critic reception, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the most robust and well-built RPGs since Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm just judging it purely based off of that. If you judge Expedition 33 just as an RPG, I don't think it holds a candle to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The decisions, the impact, the consequences, the freedom, the depth, the systems, they're not even in the same universe if you're judging them purely as RPGs, which is what the category is about. The hype and the love around Expedition 33 is undeniable. It deserves all the other categories that it won. I knew it wasn't going to win sound design. I thought that's going Battlefield 6, and I was stupid, and I changed my prediction at the last minute to Death Stranding 2, but I was clearly on the right path there. It's like Expedition 33 is not going to win sound design. I really didn't think it was going to win RPG. I think the love and the hype around the game has moved it, like, in this category up a notch that allowed it to win. If you judge it purely based off of the RPG elements, it is good. You could even argue it's very good. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is at a level of excellence that is truly stunning that it didn't win. It has over 170 reviews on OpenCritic, so it's not like it was this maybe too challenging game or something and it kicked review critics or journalists out of the game. It's got plenty of reviews and a very strong score, like an 89 on OpenCritic. That's incredible for a game like this. I just think the media darling treatment got in the way here. And I know folks are going to disagree. Listen, I loved Expedition 33. I was cheering for Jennifer English to win, and she did, because she had two moments in Expedition 33 that were so powerful, so potent, it made me emotional. And that doesn't happen to me very often with games. I'm a bit of a crybaby. I cry in, heartwarming movies and stuff, and I'm very, very, very sentimental. It doesn't happen a lot with video games. Expedition 33 is very special to me, and I love it, and it's virtually tied for my game of the year. But I really can confidently say, based on everything I've looked at and being as objective as I can, Kingdom Come Deliverance really deserved that RPG win. But those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know this is going to be a debate. I haven't done a long show open in a while. 20-minute monologue. I know some of y'all missed the monologue. If you haven't already, hit the like button, and let's get the goal going as we inch our way to just an absolutely massive week of 1,000. I believe the terms were that you guys had to hit that last night, though, for Creature to join. He was trying to give me a little extra push last night to get you guys to push it. So that's off the table for tonight. But we can still have a great day. Let me hit that renewal, though. I'm sorry, it's a gifted member from East00, and then a $2 super chat tip from Oops, wait, hang on. I have to reset each of them. There we go. Thank you, East00. Yeah, I know, Omar. You disagree with me on the RPG stance. You were being, super in everybody's face last night. I'm just going to keep coming back to the same thing. Judged purely on the merits of an RPG, Expedition 33 is a good RPG. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an excellent RPG. Like, that's the difference. One is good. Arguably, you could argue... Yes, we're playing Dispatch tonight, and we're also doing the Returnal Rage runs this afternoon. You could argue that Expedition 33 is a very good RPG. Dude, Expedition 33 is not even at the same level, though. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an excellent RPG. I mean, it's in the same ballpark as Baldur's Gate 3. It really, really is. Define RPG for us. It's a role-playing game commonly defined by choices you make with your character as you role-play as that character. This can take the form of skill trees, abilities and decision equipping, equipping actual weapons or armor, as well as conversations with characters in that world that shape both the story and your character's arc. That is sort of my off-the-cuff definition of an RPG that I think is a fair one. And I think when you think about all the things that people think about when they look for something in an RPG, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is excellent. I mean, excellent. The interactions with the NPC, the freedom, the builds, the abilities, the itemization, the world, the dynamic emergent things that can happen. It's truly a special game in the realm of people who want a role-playing game. It really is. It really is a very special game. I think Expedition 33 is a very special game for all of the other reasons that it is praised. For all the other reasons that it is praised. But if you judge it purely as an RPG, nobody's going like, oh yeah, that's one of the most excellent, most amazing RPGs I've ever played. That certainly is praise that it gets. Like, hey, it's a good RPG. The systems are cool. The Picto system is cool. The build system is cool. The turn-based system is cool. All those things are very good. And Expedition 33, yes, Eugene, is quite a linear game. Again, there's so much room to disagree with. I get why people think Expedition should have won that category, but I'm like, you guys have got to admit, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, we almost never get games at that caliber and depth. Not since Baldur's Gate 3 have we had a game like that. Not since Baldur's Gate 3. Also, I wasn't hating on Mega Man. I'm just not a big fan of Mega Man. And, like, I didn't think that was, like, the big announcement that everybody was kind of thinking it was going to be. Like, here's a franchise people have been waiting for a very long time to come back. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about Half-Life. No, he's talking about Mega Man. No shade to Mega Man. No shade to Mega Man, all right? Little homie's cool. Little homie's cool. I just, back in the day, was never really vibing with Mega Man. I always liked Metroid more. So, you can decide what outfit you wear in Expedition 33. That's a choice that's true. Colin Moriarty was awe-inspired. Mega Man's a super big franchise. For sure. There are just some games like that just don't do anything for me. I'm not hating on Mega Man. It just doesn't do anything for me. I've never been, big on it. I remember playing it as a kid and thinking, this is really hard, and that was about all I remember, was that it was really hard. It also was really far away. Isn't it like 2027? Like, it's not even soon. I feel like it was a long time away. Am I misremembering? Yeah, Mega Man's 2027 on my notes here. Colin Moriarty is a Mega Man mark. I mean, yes, anybody who loves Mega Man was probably very, very excited. And that's great. Which game played Tool? Warlock, I think, was the name of the game. It's another Wizards of the Coast game. Warlock played the Tool song. Mega Man makes me think of South Park and Cartman. Let's be real. There is nuance for the RPG vote. The real snub was T-Lu Season 2 winning over the others. Here's what I don't get. Can we look at the description? What was it called? Oh, shoot. Hang on. It's called Best Adaptation, right? Does the Game Awards now have all the categories so we can see, like, the brief descriptions? Here we go. Categories. Okay. Where is it? It's called Best Adaptation, is it not? I'm looking for it in the list. Here it is. Okay. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully, this word's really important, faithfully and authentically adapts the video game to another entertainment medium. Season 2 of The Last of Us is the most unfaithful adaptation that I've ever seen. It's not faithful. If you're going to judge this and critique this and vote for this, you should be putting Season 2 up against the second game. You'd be like, it wasn't faithful at all. T-Lu 2, Season 2 got a 94 on Metacritic. Yeah, that's why it won. The critics were not reviewing Season 2 as a faithful adaptation of the second game. They were reviewing it like it was a TV show. If you just watch that as a TV show, you'll talk to lots of people that thought Season 2 was great. They've never played the game, so they had no qualms with anything that happened. They thought it was fine. They were like, yeah, that's fine. That's great. I loved it. You talk to people who played the second game, and they're like, what the frick was that? Like, it's more like a turn-based action adventure than an RPG. Is this fair? So Eugene is asking, is this fair to say about Expedition 33? It's more like a turn-based action adventure than an RPG. Yeah, Fallout was last year. I think Fallout won last year, didn't it? Didn't Fallout win? So then the description means nothing. If the game didn't exist, Season 2 would have been pretty great. Yeah, I think if the game didn't exist, Season 2, you'd be like, yeah, that was fine. How did Fallout... Wait, was Fallout nominated last year? What? Oh, no. Omar's saying, no, that's not a fair thing to say. All right, hang on. The Game Awards Best Adaptation 2024. Yeah, Fallout won last year. Deserved. Absolutely deserved. It was fantastic. It's a little too late this year. I think it's like next week. I can't freaking wait. They got dadgum Macaulay Culkin for Season 2. I cannot wait. I'm glad he's having a bit of a glow up. Good for him. The industry was really rough to him. I think so was his family. I hate when that happens to child actors. So it's good to see him kind of having a bit of a comeback. Yeah, Fallout 1. Last year it was what? Arcane, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. How did Last of Us not get nominated last year? That's really weird. How in the world did it not land at the right time or something? Or has it been too long? Was The Last of Us nominated in 2023? I can't remember. I feel like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has more in-depth systems than Expedition 33, making it more of an RPG than Expedition 33. Because people pulled RPG mechanics out of the genre, it means it's not part of the genre. Yeah, I do not agree with trying to argue Expedition 33 out of the genre. I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's helpful. It's not about that. It's about... Oh, Season 1 was 2023. Okay, thank you. And it won 2023. Okay, that makes perfectly good sense. Season 1 was fantastic in The Last of Us. It was just absolutely magnificent. Fallout was very good. See my comments above. Yeah, let me see what you're saying here, Omar, about this debate. It also adds an excellent of an RPG, as you're saying Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is. You're also got out of there pretty quick because it's highly flawed. You rolled credits on Expedition 33. I would not argue that Kingdom Come Deliverance is highly flawed. Their choice on the saving system, I can be critical of it, but I don't think I would elevate it to saying it's highly flawed. I just don't like it. I think it's a flat tire that's unnecessary. That's highly flawed would be like glitches, bugs, broken systems or something that's convoluted or internally dissonant or contradictory. The saving system, credit where credit is due, the saving system in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it's on brand for what's going on in the early portions of that game. You are poor and have nothing, and even saving the game is a pain point. You can customize builds in Expedition 33. Final Fantasy VII is entirely linear. It's one of the best RPGs of all time. Clearly, yes. Right. I think I'm just going to keep coming back to the same point. I can't argue this any better. This is the best argument I can come up with. If you judge them purely on the merits of being RPGs, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is far and away a superior RPG. More robust, more deep, far more dynamic emergence of choices and consequences and dealing with the NPCs, the world itself, your build, your abilities, the itemization, all the stuff you can do from cooking to brewing potions to stealing to buying to bartering. I mean, there's a bartering system in the game. I mean, it is insane. I'm going to say it again. Not since Expedition 33 have we had an RPG this robust and this highly praised. So to me, in the realm of role-playing, they give you 1,000 more tools to role-play in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Expedition 33 is 100% RPG. Why the shock of it winning? Because when you compare it to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I don't think it compares at all. I just don't think that it does. If you judge them purely on the merits of an RPG, I don't think Expedition 33 holds a candle. And I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has a 93% on Steam. It has been highly reviewed by the critics and highly reviewed by the players. I don't think anybody could argue that's inherently flawed or bad. That's one subgenre. You will not see those notes in most cases in a JRPG. Best RPG isn't the award for best RPG robustness. It's the award for the best game that is an RPG. No, that's not true. You're redefining the category. If that were the case, then the game of the year would win every category that it touches, which would be a little ridiculous, would it not? Like, if your game of the year, you get to win any category you land in because you're the best game that year, that doesn't make any sense. This is how it is. This is how the category is defined. Okay? For the best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. So that obviously didn't happen this year for like any MMOs, but they include that if like an MMORPG descends and is super popular. So rich character customization. Kingdom Come Deliverance blows Expedition 33 out of the water in this category. They're not even in the same ballpark. They're not even in the same universe, okay? And progression. Again, not even on the same playing field of depth, of how robust and broad and deep the systems are. They're not even competing in these categories. So if you go by the definition of what they consider the best RPG is, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is far and away better at those things. There is so much more you can do. Your experience and my experience in Expedition 33 is largely only differentiated by the people we fight and equip and the build that we give them. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can have the exact opposite story, experience, build, and everything compared to what I or somebody else could experience. Have we talked about Control 2 yet? Doesn't it look so good? I got super excited when I realized we were going to be playing as her brother. That was exciting. And second, when it made it clear he like took that thing and broke it into two things and they were switching to more melee-based combat, I was ecstatic. And then they're not in the Bureau anymore. They're in Manhattan, and it's like very Inception. Like Manhattan's been, contorted and twisted and messed up. Control was my favorite announcement of the night. It looked very, very good. I'm very excited. I really hope that's a first half of the year release. Given that they didn't drop a release date, that's a little I get a little nervous if you're not going to land in the first half of the year. Because let's just say you have a release date for the first 6 months of next year. I feel like you would say that in December, especially at the Game Awards. So that makes me think it's probably second half of the year, which gets a little precarious with like GTA 6 and Wolverine. Like it's already getting a little cramped, It's already getting a little cramped. So that makes me a little nervous for it. But I am hopeful. I am hopeful that they're able to land it. Guys, make sure you are hitting that like button. Try to get us to 200 likes. Thank you so much for being here. A $2 super chat tip from Juice Man. He said the show is mid, not enough for a good show. Yeah, I mean you're free to think that. I don't think that. I thought the show was very consistent until the end. I thought they did a very good job with pacing, very consistent. The minute we get to the end and you end with High Guard, I don't know why you wouldn't have ended with Star Wars. Nobody was expecting Star Wars. People were expecting Divinity, right? You knew you were going to do some public statue thing for Divinity. You had to know there was a risk of people figuring it out. So having Divinity at the beginning makes perfectly good sense. Because if people have figured it out, let's just get it out of the way. Let's talk about it. Let's get people excited. I don't know why you wouldn't have ended with Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. That High Guard game looks just like hot trash. I'm really not sure why Keeley thought this is the one to end with. What do they say in the trailer, too? This is the worst part of it. I'm going to tell you what the worst part of the trailer is for High Guard. Let me find it. It's freaking... I don't know why you do this. Why do people use phrases like this? What? A new breed of shooter. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is that it? Oh, it might have been something that Keeley said then. It might have been something that Keeley said. This is close enough to what I think is... You just don't do this. Hang on. Hang on. I'm trying to get the stupid freeze frame. This. Comes a new breed of shooter. Like, why are we doing this? Like, you've done it. You've got the new breed. You've got the new thing in shooters. Like, why? Why do this? Like, as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, here we go. Sneaky Wolf with a $5 super chat tip. What about the new sci-fi IP that was shown? I can't remember what it was called. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. You talking about Exodus? Exodus wasn't new, if that's the one you're thinking of. It was very Mass Effect inspired. Broken Earth says to Omar, you seem to be caught up on the tag of RPG. That's not all you have to do to win RPG. The tagline for the award was specific to character customization and progression. You get more of that in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Was it No Law, the guys that made the Ascension? Lona, what was your take on Arc Raiders before it came out? I thought it was going to struggle but have like a core audience because it's extraction shooter. I thought it looked great, though. I never once thought that Arc Raiders would flop. I thought it looked great. I said their presentation's phenomenal, and I always said I really wish it was a looter like they originally planned. The first time I saw Concord, I was like, nope, that's going nowhere. First time I saw Marathon, nope, that's going nowhere. And the public largely agreed with me on both of those games. The public is largely agreeing with me on this game, this High Guard game. Every trailer is getting obliterated. There is no way you could argue these trailers are being brigaded against. They just dropped. I mean, they just dropped. Nobody's been able to mobilize and call them woke or anything like that. It's just the genuine response from the public is we're sick of these games. We don't want more of these games. Okay, Control Resonant details from Shinobi. Confirmed sequel to the first game, coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC in 2026. Biggest game Remedy has ever made. Open-ended action RPG set in a modern yet paranormally ravaged Manhattan. New story and fresh entry point into the series. Don't need to have played the first game, but returning players will recognize things. You play as Dylan Faden, Jesse's brother, deployed by the FBC at the height of the supernatural crisis. Dylan is searching for Jesse, and redemption may have a connection to the chaos. Explore expansive zones across the city, branching missions, encounters, and events to tackle in any order. World is alive, strange, and replayable. Discoveries that reward curiosity and exploration. Progression systems let you shape combat styles, exploration, supernatural powers, buffs, weaponry. There's a new melee weapon that transforms. Yeah, the melee weapon's got me super excited. I love that they moved away from it being a gun and melee based. That's awesome. I can't argue against that. It was pretty meh. I absolutely hate kicking a game as soon as it comes out. Like, I don't like doing that. Being like, yeah. Like, I don't like doing that. But these companies have got to realize you all thought you had some crack squad idea years ago, and they're all coming out and they're looking very similar. Do you want to know my theory on what happened? I'm going to give you a theory on why Concord looks the way that it does and the way that it came out, and why High Guard looks the way that it does and the way that it came out. I think we are still living in the ripple effect of Fortnite. I think people saw Fortnite and thought, we're not going to be able to compete directly with that Battle Royale. Why don't we take a similar idea and put it somewhere else? Apex probably played a role too with the hero shooter angle. So it's, to me, it's like these games all kind of look and feel very similar. Yeah, that 4-loop game doesn't look good either. It's like, what is it? It's the PlayStation Bad Robot game. I thought that looked bad too. I was like, well, maybe once I get my hand on my thumbs on the sticks, I'll think differently. But it looked very, very bad. Like, it was dissonant because the guy's narration didn't seem to match the gameplay. The concept seems like it has potential, like a co-op Rogue. That always has potential, but it just didn't look like very good gameplay. I think Eugene said something that was said this morning about like making it the last thing was kind of setting it up to fail. I think that certainly is playing a role in the reception. Sneaky Wolf with a $5 super chat. What about the sci-fi AP? Oh, I already read that. Sorry. I'm not sure which sci-fi game you were thinking of, Sneaky Wolf. Did we think of it? Mediocre Milton says, if High Guard was an extraction shooter, it would have a chance, but as a hero shooter, it is a huge uphill battle to be successful. It also just looks like another Unreal Engine, like, arena shooter derivative nothing. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how many times I don't know how many times you can do that, where you can be like, yeah, here's a hero shooter, and there's a guy, like, shooting, and then he goes like this with his hands, and a wall comes up, or, like, fire comes out. You know what I mean? Expedition 33 wasn't my favorite RPG this year. It was Digimon Time Strangers and Super Robot Wars. Hey, man. Enjoy what you're going to enjoy. Free-to-play can be worse than bad monetization practices. Here's what I said this morning in the Discord. You know, Fuzzy's like, hey, free-to-play can go a long way. Number one, I don't think that's true anymore. I think the impact of free-to-play has been deadened a little bit. Why? Because there's an ocean of already existing free-to-play games that tons of people have, you know, they've got a time and investment in, right? There's an ocean of free-to-play games already out there that people already have time and investment in. So I don't think free-to-play is as strong as it used to be. The second thing I'm going to say, free-to-play is a double-edged sword. It's really easy for somebody to download a free-to-play game and after 5 minutes be like, this is crap, and they just turn it off. They didn't pay for it. They have no skin in the game. They didn't pay for it. They don't have any investment in the game at all. They're just like, this sucks, and they shut it down. I still don't know why anybody thinks you can have re-engagement patterns with arena shooters. I'm like, how are you going to get people to come back? I just don't know. I just think it's really, really hard. Lona, they made High Guard in complete secrecy. Yeah, I can see why. You downloaded it, they got an MAU, they gotcha. They didn't get anything. That's not how these games live and die. If I download a free-to-play game, play for 5 minutes, and never go back, that is not a victory. Not at all for them. They're not like, yeah, we got another MAU. No, you need re-engagement. You need buy-in. You need monetization. You need longevity. How else are you going to keep those servers going and the updates and the new content? Well, we got an MAU on that first day. If you booted it up, they got their activity. Okay, you just repeated the same point, Fuzzy. That's not the paying the bills. You can't pay the bills with the spreadsheet. Oh, well, look how many people played our game day one. Okay. Saudi money? I think you're going too far down that rabbit hole if you think they're completely happy and satisfied with the game coming out and having people bounce off the game the first day they play it. Like, well, they got information and player behavior data. I don't think that's worth more when you're getting re-engagement. It's not worth anything if you bounce off the game in the first day. They got a number for a month. How does that turn into money? Yeah, I don't think that turns into money if you're not re-engaging with the property. If you literally play it day one, week one, and then you shut down and never come back, you know, maybe you play for a couple weekends in a row and then you just never come back, I don't think that's worth very much money to them. I don't think they're like, yeah, that was worth all this investment in marketing and you know, paying staff for people to not play the game beyond the first month. Erica Ishii's getting killed for how she dressed. I have a sneaking suspicion she does not care what the gamer chads are saying about her. I don't think she cares. She had to know she wasn't going to win anything. She was there eating popcorn, chilling. There was no way she thought she had a chance against Expedition 33's cast. She had to know. She was just there to have a good time. You know, I was like, we're not winning anything tonight. It was all Expedition 33. Broken Earth says, oh, so Omar responded. Explain Metaphor winning Best RPG last year then, and it being up against FF7 Rebirth. Explain to me all the character customization and progression in those games versus Expedition 33. Well, I wonder if you're not seeing why Metaphor won, though. Wouldn't Metaphor have won for reasons that it excelled beyond Rebirth? Like, Rebirth wasn't Rebirth and those FF7 games criticized for not being, like, they were great? Well, no, I'm thinking of FF16. FF16 was criticized for not being a great RPG by people who are, like, fans of FF. I'm not tuned in enough to Rebirth and Metaphor to speak to what you're saying. I think I'd be curious to see why people thought Metaphor was so good, and if there were value points and depth and substance there that wasn't, maybe in Rebirth. Anyone notice that there was almost no reaction to Highguard? I don't think. How do you react to that? It was the show ender, and it was just a live service shooter. Even if you don't have, like, the gaming community has a bit of animosity. Maybe not animosity. Like, there's a bit of a disdain right now for live service games. Live service shooters especially. We feel like we've had our fill. Even if you don't feel that strongly, it's probably just white noise to you. It's like, oh, it's another shooter. It's another live service shooter. Like, that's not going to get a big reaction. Listen to the crowd when a trailer like Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic drops. Listen to the crowd when they do something like they did with Divinity or Concord, and there's all this presentation, there's all this pomp and circumstance and tone. And then watch that trailer for Highguard. It literally could have been in the middle of the show as a throwaway mobile game ad, and you wouldn't have noticed. You wouldn't have noticed. If that Highguard trailer was in, like, the center of the show, just as a commercial, and it was like a mobile game, right? You wouldn't have noticed it. You'd have been like, yeah, that's just more mobile game slop, because that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like anything of significance at all. The fact that people are defending the absolute snub from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a joke. Hey, listen. I loved Expedition 33, and because of the saving mechanic, I kind of bounced off Kingdom Come, and I'm out here saying Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 deserved it. Like, I feel like I'm being about as objective as you can. It's like, listen, I can see where there's just a mountain of quality here, and it's very interesting to me that it didn't win. People still play Apex. I'm not sure why Respawn are releasing another live service shooter. It's not Respawn. It's like a spin-off studio. It's not Respawn. That's why I'm so bewildered. Like, here's what's absolutely bewildering about it. They know that people want Titanfall 3. They could have given something that was clearly inspired by Titanfall. It'd been like, from the makers of Titanfall comes, I don't know, give it a name. It is Respawn? I thought they said it was a spin-off studio. I didn't think it was Respawn. I thought the studio had its own name. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall comes Highguard. Like, they're saying that, but I thought the studio had a name. Something Entertainment. The shooting is just so Apex. Yeah, Wildlight Entertainment. It's not Respawn. Yeah, it's a spin-off studio. I thought these guys, like, left Respawn to start this studio. It's called, this is the name that pops up in the trailer, Wildlight Entertainment. It's ex-Respawn devs. Yeah, I thought so. You guys had me, like, second-guessing myself. Yeah, here it is. Here it is in Steam. It's under Wildlight Entertainment. It's a completely new studio. They're targeting January 26th. You know what drives me crazy about this framing and this font? It looks like that other game that came out. It was that single-player game with all the magic abilities with your hand, and it didn't perform very well, and then they updated it, and it got better. What the frick was that game called? This looks so much like this. Oh, what was that name called? Get the pink slips ready. That's rude. Eternum. Yeah. There's something about it. Eternum. What was it called? Light of Immortals of Avium. Thank you. Isn't Eternum the... Yep. Well, look at this. I don't know why. Immortals of Avium, like the key art and the logo, this for some reason it just gives me that vibe. It's very different, obviously, but it also has a similar feel for some reason. That's just what it made me think of. They're completely different games. I'm just looking at like the branding and the logos and stuff. You thought the same thing? Yeah, Eternum was New World. Yeah. Isn't Dan Houser from Rockstar a part of Highguard? I don't think so. Didn't they have him come out for something else? It reminds me of First Descendant without the booba. The amount of people I'm seeing online complaining that Expedition 33 swept the awards, like they really think a single game shouldn't be allowed to win. Yeah, I want to engage with that for just a second. I find this line of reasoning to be, it's emotionally driven, but I don't think it's very thoughtful. And I want to explain why I don't think it's very thoughtful, okay? So, when somebody said this in my chat, when the original score award went to Expedition 33, and I didn't have time to go into it there because I didn't want to interrupt the show, but this is essentially what I wanted to say. Someone is like, they should really limit how many times a game can win. Here's the problem with what you're saying. If we are recognizing the talent that goes into making an original score, the game is a little immaterial at that point. We're recognizing the person, the skill, the talent, and the vision that went into the original score. Like, I remember listening to Ori and the Will of the Wisps' original score and being struck by how brilliant it was. If it would have been up for nomination in a year, well, let's just say Ori and the Will of the Wisps was winning a bunch of awards for some reason, and they were like, we really don't want Ori to win anymore, so it can't win for soundtrack. You're basically taking that award away from that guy arbitrarily. Like, does that make sense? Like, if we don't give it to the guy who made the soundtrack for Expedition 33 because you want some arbitrary limit on a game winning, you're basically not honoring and awarding the guy that deserves it. Like, he absolutely deserved to win. It's life-changing for this guy. He gets discovered on SoundCloud, and his soundtrack trends on Spotify. Everyone's obsessed with it, right? It's clearly incredible, and they open up the show with the music, and it's like, yeah, you guys think this isn't going to win for music? So that's the dilemma. If you, like, arbitrarily limit how many times a game can win, like, Jennifer English doesn't deserve to win for performance because, what, Expedition 33 won too many times? The team that came up with the story, the narrative, the writing, the character arcs, and the turns in the narrative, they don't deserve to win for best narrative because they've won too many awards? Do you see? Like, I get the emotion behind it. This is why I said it's an emotional argument. It just isn't very thoughtful. If you really think for a second about what you would have to do to implement this rule, you would just be arbitrarily not recognizing excellence in game design simply because you don't want one game to go up there the whole time. Sandfall nailed it, and they deserved every single one of those awards, except for RPG, because I think it should have gone to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But overall, they deserved every single award they got because they did an excellent job in all those categories. Sorry, my wife sent me a text. Pardon my French, but it's stupidity that should be limited, not how many awards. Yo, thank you for the 100 bits wide rope. Why is no one talking about Death Stranding? What's there to talk about? I don't think Death Stranding deserved to win any of the categories it was in except for sound design. I thought the soundtrack in Expedition 33 was better than the soundtrack in Death Stranding. Dog Stranding? I don't know what if you're making a joke, I'm not getting it. The first game they showed. Oh, that was during the pre-show. That's why nobody's talking about it. It wasn't like one of the big announcements. Yeah, the one where like the dog is like herding animals or whatever. Art direction for Death Stranding would have been fine with me. The reason that I think art direction deservedly went to Expedition 33 is because it is far more distinct and recognizable, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's stunning, and the execution of the art direction is also quite good, like the way you experience the world. The art direction for Death Stranding 2 was Death Stranding 1 with better graphics. I'm not throwing shade at Kojima, but that's what it was. No shade. Death Stranding is a great looking game, and the art direction is certainly extremely creative. There are some amazing scenes in Death Stranding 2. But like Death Stranding 2's art direction is Death Stranding 1 but prettier. Like, for the most part. I'm not trying to be reductionistic here, but just the world and the creatures in Expedition 33, and just how the art direction's executed with respect to the paintress and the lore. I don't know. There are some really cool sequences in Death Stranding 2 based on Kojima's art direction, but that art direction largely had already existed. It was the art direction of the first game. I think that makes it very, very hard to win art direction when you're a sequel. It's like, same with Ghosts of Yote. Ghosts of Yote is beautiful. It has this quality of almost looking like a painting, and I took tons of screenshots when I was playing Yote. But again, I think Yote's art direction is Tsushima but prettier. I think that makes it harder to win art direction. Like, Expedition 33 is this brand new, unique feel, vibe, identity, and it stands apart. And both Yote and Death Stranding 2 are sequels that made the art direction from the first game like prettier and better. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think it's harder to win when that's the case. Yeah, you can certainly have your own preferences and think that, like, you think Yote looked better or Death Stranding 2 looked better. Within the realms of winning an award, I just think it's harder for you to win when you're a sequel, because it's like, it would be like Hades 2 winning for art. It'd be like, well, it's Hades 1, but with new characters in a new area. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you've already been recognized in that department, you're probably going to struggle to get recognized in that department again. Because I do think historically, I think Tsushima and Death Stranding were both recognized for their art direction. I don't know if they won, though. I can't remember. Go to Verso's Drafts. It's next to Lumiere. I'm not sure what you're telling me to do. Is that the DLC? 33 should have won over Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and RBG for a simple reason. Its gameplay was way more accessible than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But that's not how the RPG category is judged. The RPG category is judged based off of character customization and progression, which Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is it just excels in those categories. Being accessible has nothing to do with the RPG category. Did I plat Yote? No, I don't really go for platinums. I agree, voice acting should be limited, or they need best supporting. You know, I actually could get behind that. I don't want to create 18 new categories like people are asking for RPG, but I definitely think you could have a best lead performance, best supporting performance. I definitely think you could, because there's a very distinct difference between what Jennifer English had to do and what, like, I finished Yote a long time ago. I got like 60 something hours out of it. A $5 super chat from Dewan Austin says, South of Midnight should have gotten art direction and soundtrack. Not trolling, but South of Midnight was beautiful and had an awesome soundtrack. It did have an awesome soundtrack. Expedition 33 soundtrack was just far and away just the lead for the year. Insomnia. I'm sorry. Who is that? I think that's Insomniac Black. Oh, it's Mini Black. 12 months. Flute guy was in his bag during the medley. I was on the floor when he pulled out. The whistle flute had me dying. I was wheezing when he pulled out the whistle flute. And then he was playing PVC piping. Did you guys see Tom Henderson's tweet? It was actually really funny. Hang on. Zubair said, Lonnie, you keep saying that's not how it's judged, but the award winners disagree with you. You're arguing with how it should be, not how it is. Yeah? What's the problem with me arguing how it should be? That's my position. That's my position. My position is, if the category says this is how it's going to be judged, then that's how it should be judged. You know what I mean? Tom Henderson, the missus. Why is the sink leaking? Me. This is a good tweet, bro. This is a good tweet. That's good work. There should have been a limit by how many games people per game get nominated for a single award. Over half of the best performance noms for Expedition 3, which takes away from other great performances. Again, there's an inherent dilemma with what you're saying. At an emotional level, I agree with you. So if I get into my emotions and I'm like wanting certain performances, like let's take, for example, Dead Take. Dead Take has, who is the guy that presented alongside Lady D, whatever her name is. I don't know their names. I'm bad about this. Whatever his name is, she said, oh, he's wearing the dress tonight. His performance in Dead Take was phenomenal. I mean, gripping and powerful. He doesn't get a nom. He probably would have in another year, but he doesn't get a nom. Why? Because like half of Expedition 33's cast is getting a nomination. You know what I mean? Is his name Neil Newborn? Is that his name? He was so good in Dead Take. He was just absolutely excellent. So, it's sad to see somebody like that not recognized for how great they did. A supporting role category takes care of that. I think it does. If you have best lead performance and then you have best supporting performance, I definitely think it opens up for people to get recognized for the work that they do. I think that's fair feedback to give Keeley, to be like, the voice acting category is a little narrow considering the insane amount of talent every year. You break up action and action adventure, Maybe we should break up lead performance and supporting performance. If you're great to get the nom, you want the nom, but you got to be better than the 4 people from Expedition 33. I think it's a little unusual to have one game with so many noms. Maybe we don't need to legislate for this, right? Maybe we don't need to legislate for this. I swear the micro stutters in OBS I swear they've increased, and it drives me absolutely batty. I swear something's wrong, and then it doesn't come in the stream. It's only happening in OBS. It makes me so dadgum paranoid. Bitrate and GPU are all rock solid. It's just OBS. Guys, if you haven't done so already, can you hit the like button? Get us to 200 likes really, really quickly, if you don't mind. We've been streaming for just about an hour, and we appreciate the nice, strong turnout. We got a lot of segments today. We'll be doing one with Returnal. I'll be doing some Rage challenge runs. If you've not ever seen a Rage run in Returnal, it's something that we come up with here. It should be fun. The horror game with Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah, it felt great. It's like the spiritual successor to Soma, I think they said. Should have an award for best remake. A lot of good remakes this year. I know Golden Joystick does DLC and remake or remaster as categories. I think DLC would be a great category too, but, I'd advocate for a best supporting performer and best mocap award. If Ben Starr is in 16 games a year, he is bound to have one great performance. Yeah, he's going to get a nom every year. I don't think you will understand why Expedition 1 so much unless you took the time to play the game. It was an absolute masterpiece. Having played it, I was trying to tell folks, I'm like, listen, I don't know why y'all are out here doubting Expedition 33. I told people it'll win every category except for 2 that it landed in. It won every category except for 1. It outdid even my prediction, which we should probably go through my predictions now, and we should see how accurate I ended up being, right? We should see how accurate I ended up being. I think I had a pretty good average. I think I did pretty well. I wasn't perfect, but I think I did pretty well. Okay. I have 7 notifications in Discord. Oh, it's all mentions. Oh, Sven says, I'm of the opinion that Highguard isn't getting a fair shake simply because of where it was revealed in the show. I think that's being overstated. I don't think that's why it's being poorly received. It's being poorly received because it looks like so many other games that people don't want right now. It's a free-to-play shooter with a smart choice in today's PvP market. Why is that a smart choice in today's market? Backed by Apex and Titanfall devs, looks like it could be doing something new in the genre we haven't seen. I'm not really understanding the immediate hate for the game. Because at its core, it's an arena shooter that looks like something I've played before. Letting me ride on a horse or new abilities doesn't change that. At its core, right, it is... The frick is going on? At its core, it is literally something that the industry, the gaming community at large, has rejected that game type. People are like, we don't want this. You know what I mean? It would be like opening up a shop on a street corner and you're trying to sell pies, okay? And for whatever reason, at that location, people are like, we don't want to buy pies. Maybe they're just looking for convenient fast food like a taco hut or something, and a whole pie is just not going to do well in that market, okay? And you close down, and somebody else buys a location and is like, these are pot pies. People would be like, what? It's still a pie. We're walking by and we need like a hot dog or a taco or a slice of pizza before we go to work. We don't need an entire pot pie. Like, that's what this is. Like, at its core, it's something that people don't want. I don't care if you change it, spice it up, or shuffle the ingredients around. It doesn't matter. It's like we've had this thing attempt to come to the market multiple times. 100 bits from Wired Rope. Sandfall is being cheeky by opening with "We lost." I'm not sure what you mean. We haven't even seen a full match of the game, and it's being called a hero shooter slop, is my point. Okay. Sven, I've had these conversations many times over the years, and I always find it remarkable that people don't have their radar tuned after all these years. Like, in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I saw 2 minutes of Mind's Eye and said, something's not right. I saw 2 minutes of the day before and I said, something's not right. I saw one trailer of gameplay for Concord and said, what is that? Nobody wants that. Huh? Why? What? We saw one reveal of Marathon. Same thing. Like, that trailer for Highguard, I'm telling you, it's like, I don't need to see any more. I know what you're offering me. You are offering me an arena where there are varying degrees of mechanics and abilities, but at its core, it's an arena shooter. The public is not receptive to that right now. It hasn't been receptive to that for a very long time. Now, you could blame that on Battle Royale. You could blame that on any number of things. But, homie, I played the tutorial for Lawbreakers, and I canceled my trip to LA to go to the event. They were going to fly me to LA, put me in a hotel, wine me and dine me. I turned down a free trip with free food and free booze. Why? Because I was like, I could tell from the tutorial that Lawbreakers was a non-starter. I was like, this is a non-starter. And it was. There is something inherent to these games. Like, you can feel it. You can feel it. You're like, no, this has got no staying power. It's got no momentum in the market right now. Okay, but you played it. You're going to pick out that one example. You're going to ignore Concord. You're going to ignore Mind's Eye? You're going to ignore the day before? Come on, man. Listen, you know me. I do not like to jump on hate trains. I think people are quick to hate train. They're quick to brigade on games that don't deserve it, okay? But I feel like I've developed a sixth sense for this. It's like there's something off here. There's something not right. There's something derivative. There's something hollow. You played Concord, but I made my predictions based off of the gameplay trailer. The gameplay trailer of Concord, I told you, I said, this is a massive risk. It just looks like another hero shooter. It looks like a game that we've all sort of played before. It looks derivative. Like, I said that before playing Concord. I never touched the day before or Mind's Eye before saying there is something wrong. But you played Mind's Eye. You guys are switching history around. What are we doing right now? You remember, the first time I set eyes on Mind's Eye, I told you guys something is wrong. That game, I told you guys, I'm getting day before vibes. From the first Mind's Eye trailer, I told people that something wasn't right. And the first time we looked at the day before, I said, this is fake. This isn't real. Like, come on now. Just because I played the day before after, and I played Mind's Eye after, I didn't make my assessment after that. I made my assessment before that there was something wrong with those games. It legitimately looks like a new experience to me. Here's the thing. I'm not telling you to be negative, and I'm certainly not telling you to be pessimistic. I'm not trying to beat the optimism out of you. I'm simply saying my assessment is fair. There are plenty of things in that trailer that are pretty clear markers of we've kind of seen this before. We've seen this derivative PvP live service thing, this derivative PvP shooter live service thing before. We have been here before. I didn't see anything novel. I saw abilities that I've seen in Concord. I saw abilities that are right out of Valorant. I saw movement and gunplay that's like right out of Apex. I didn't see anything novel. I didn't see anything new. Listen, you have to remember something. This is their best foot forward. The game comes out in a month. That trailer is their best. That's their best. Even if there's PvE and tanks, it doesn't change anything. Look at the quality of the game. Look at the movement. Look at the characters. It's like, it just looks like something I've played before. Lono's assuming it will fail unless he sees evidence to the contrary. Sven is assuming it will work unless he sees evidence to the contrary. Both are reasonable. We have no info yet. I think likelihood of failure is higher as well, given what we know about the market and given what we know about live service. I think there's a whole other element here at play. This is not a campaign. This is not a single-player game. This is a live service game. And I think the minute you're in that environment, oh, buddy, do you have to have something new and fresh. Arc Raiders had that. From moment one, I said, this looks too good to be true. Like the delivery and the vibe and the tone, I was like, there's no way it's going to look like that. No, it looks like that. They nailed it. And Arc Raiders excelled at something that made it stand out, which was PvE and tension and setting up scenarios. So there's these emergent experiences. They packaged it in a way that was compelling and interesting. Think about it. From the very beginning of me seeing Arc Raiders, I bemoaned the fact that it was an extraction shooter. Why do you think that is? Because you don't like extraction shooters? No, because the game was packaged in a way that looked compelling. It looked compelling. It was like a looter shooter with these big giant open world boss fights. This looks incredible. Now, when they switched it to extraction, I was like, really? Why? Why would you switch to extraction? But then the more they showed and the more they talked, and then the more we saw of gameplay, I was like, oh, they might have something here. This might actually work. And then I played it. Now, you could argue that you were skeptical of Arc Raiders until you played it. That's true. I was very skeptical of Arc Raiders until I played it. I'm not really skeptical of High Guard. High Guard just looks like another one of those, like the art direction and everything. It just doesn't look like anything special. It just looks like another like Unreal asset flip PvP game. You know what I mean? Like there was, I don't know, from the very first trailer I ever saw of Arc Raiders, there was something about it that felt captivating and cool. It had a vibe. From the logo to the music to the setting, it was like, And so my disappointment with them switching to Extraction was because it looked so good. If it looked like crap or slop or derivative nonsense and then they switched to Extraction Shooter, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have been like, well, I wasn't interested in that game to begin with. You see what I'm saying? Like, Cat Uncle's getting at something with it looking generic. I think we're entering a time, and we've talked about this before, I think we're entering a time where art direction is pivotal to your game standing out. This is where I think Expedition 33 really captured people's attention. The minute I saw a trailer for Expedition 33, I told y'all, I said, that's got Game of the Year written all over it. It just felt special. And it's almost intangible. It's like I don't even know how to put my finger on what I'm trying to say, other than like it just passes the vibe check, like big time, right? From the sense of the art direction speaks identity to you. The first time we saw First Berserker Kazan, we remembered it. It was like, what is that game? Right? So that's where I'm stuck on some of these games when they come out. I'm like, this just doesn't look like anything that I don't know. It looks like something I've seen before. It looks derivative. It looks copy paste. And I think that's very, very difficult to not do, because a lot of the engines have like a default feel to them. Like Unreal has like a default feel to it when you're like building a world or creating grass or trees or mountains. There's just something like you're like, yeah, I know what it's Unreal game. You know what I mean? We've seen this time and time again with games like, what was the game? There's purple everywhere. I forget the name of it now. It's not Blue Protocol. It's the other one. There was another game, Wayfinder. That was a problem that Wayfinder ran into. It didn't look special. It looked like every other Unreal game that had come out. It didn't have a distinct identity. It's just like, purple. Like I don't know why purple's in every game all of a sudden. Let me add that to the total. Thank you so much, DGAD, for gifting a member. I appreciate that very, very much. So, hang on. We got to go through this list now of, let's see how well my predictions fared. Yeah? Okay, hang on. All the award winners. All right. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So we know I got this one right. We'll switch this to green. We'll switch all the ones I got right to green. We got this one right. And then we'll leave them red if I'm wrong. Okay? So I got best adaptation wrong. It went to Last of Us Season 2. Right? So I got that one wrong. Best art direction and narrative, we got right. Best score and music, we got right. Best audio design, I got wrong. I'm so mad I changed my vote at the last minute. I hurt my average. I had Battlefield 6. I'm such a dummy. For doing that. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Best performance. Oh, wait, I'm using the wrong color all of a sudden. What did I use? Neon green. I used the neon green. Hang on. Let's fix this. If we're going to color code, let's color code. Yeah? Okay. Best performance. Innovation and accessibility, I missed. That went to Doom. That was a hard one because I hadn't researched that one. Games for Impact, I got this one. It went to South of Midnight. Best ongoing game, I went to No Man's Sky. This was Baldur's Gate for community support, so good for Larian, but I got that one wrong. Independent game, yeah. Debut indie game, yeah. We had some disagreement on this yesterday. People thought that they were going to give these categories nots to Expedition 33 to kind of like spread the love around. This one was Uma Musume, and where's the color I've been using for that? So I got that one wrong. This one was the Midnight Walk. I was really, really excited that they won, but I got this one wrong. I really, really thought... No, I'm not colorblind. The color code, but the colors change on every page. No, I'm doing teal when I'm right. I'm switching the category to... Nope, I did it again. It's because they're right next to each other. It's because they're right next to each other. There we go. Sorry. I did it again. I can see the difference. They're just right next to each other, so I'm clicking the wrong one. Independent, mobile, VR, action game. I got this one right. Action adventure. I got this one right. RPG. I got wrong. This one went to Claire Obscure. Fighting game was Fatal Fury, wasn't it? I think this was Fatal Fury. Got that one wrong. Oh, I got this one wrong. I said Mario Kart at the last minute on the broadcast. I thought I picked Mario Kart. I guessed Bonanza because of the Game of the Year nom. So I got that one wrong. I got this one right. That was a pretty easy one. I got this one right. Wait. What won Best Family Game? Did I actually get that one right? Oh, no. I got the Donkey Kong one right. Sorry, I was misremembering the racing game one. Went to Mario Kart. Okay, no, I got this one right. Yeah, I got Best Family Game, and I got the racing game as Mario Kart. Sorry, I got myself confused. I got Best Multiplayer right. This one was stupid easy. Best Anticipated. Content Creator, I got wrong. It went to Charlie. He didn't want to win. I got Counter-Strike correct. Oops. I got Esports Athlete was wrong. It was Chovy. Esports Team was Vitality. I got that one right. I guessed. And then Player's Voice went to Wuthering Waves. I got that one wrong. Okay, so let's go back through here. Count the correct ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So, what I got? I got 19 out of what? How many categories were there? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, shoot. I messed that up. 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm going to go slow this time. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. It would have been 20 out of 30 if I wouldn't have changed my stupid audio off of Battlefield. That's not bad. 30 categories, right? I think it's 30. I think I counted correct. 19 out of 30. That's not terrible. Looks like there's PvE as well, killing bots to progress. Yeah, I think there might be some MOBA elements to it. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, it looks like there's 29 categories. Oh, Player's Voice takes it to 30. Yeah. There's 29 categories and Player's Voice takes it to 30. Yeah. Guys, we need 15 more likes to get to 200 likes. Thanks so much for doing that, for coming in and just faithfully hitting that like button. Last night's awards reminded me how mad I felt when Dances with Wolves won everything and Goodfellas got snubbed. Expedition 33 was this year's Dances with Wolves, and yes, Dances with Wolves didn't deserve to win. Wow, you're really holding on to that grudge. What is that, from like the late 90s, early 90s? Jiminy Christmas. When did Dances with Wolves come out? What is it? Dances with Wolves, what, like 95? 90. I thought it was in the 90s. No, it was literally 1990. 19 out of 30 is a 63%. You're a D student. Aw, I got a D? I felt like I did way better than that. I felt like I did way better than missing 11. You know? It was a fun show either way. I mean, the guessing is just for entertainment purposes. You know? It was a little unfair because some of the categories were, you know, obvious where they were going. You know? Mm-hmm. Who feels with a masterpiece? Way better than Dancing with Wolves. Yeah, you're really holding on to that one. I mean, that's a 35-year grudge. You know what I mean? This man's holding on to a 35-year-old grudge. If you guys are just tuning in, we are discussing the Game Awards 2025. And it's been an enjoyable conversation. And we appreciate you guys being here and taking part and supporting the channel with super chats and gifted members and likes. Mike on a mic with a $5 super chat. Still mad that FF7 Rebirth didn't win Game of the Year. I'm not letting it go either. Good morning, y'all. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Mike on a mic. And thank you, everybody, for hitting the like button as well. Let me see something. We are trying something. YouTube's got this new thing where we can show up in the shorts feed as a live stream. Oh, hang on. I got to mute another section of the broadcast. Another great reason to be there. So that's 3:43. So I've got one at 3:43. I've got one at 1:54. I've got one at 3:10. 1:57. None of these are close together. Yeah, well, this one is 29 to 36:54. All right, I'll do that. I'll do a longer erase song. Mute all, and we'll go 37. And that'll get 2 songs in one swoop. There's a lot of songs last night that were copyright, unfortunately. Okay. I just want to see. Are we... Okay. Doesn't seem like it yet. If you guys ever stumble across my live stream in the shorts feed, just let me know. I'd be curious to see what the experience is like. Hey, Lono, Saros looks great, but I still can't believe South of Midnight is coming to PlayStation. That, to me, wasn't really that shocking. I mean, if a game does well enough and the porting budget's pretty small, I mean, they'll bring it over. My hope was that if they're going to bring it over to PlayStation, they would do a quality pass on the combat. Because I liked it. Right? I liked it. I enjoyed my time with South of Midnight. I thought the soundtrack, the writing, and the art style were spectacular, but the combat just didn't feel good at all. It just felt very, very rough and not that enjoyable. It really did remind me of Kane and Bridge of Spirits. They're very different games, but in a similar vein. It's like great art style, great vibes, combat that's kind of you know. The show was absolute but the only good thing is Star Wars, Fate of the Old Republic, and the 2 Tomb Raiders, and the 2 Tomb Raider games in Resident Evil 9 and Mega Man. So you were not excited about anything else? Because I thought the Divinity trailer was crazy cool. Control Resonant looks awesome. Gang of Dragon looked really good. Street Fighter movies just got excellent, fun, silly, dumb vibes. It just seems like such a fun throwaway movie to have fun with. Batman Lego release date. Lords of the Fallen 2 looked very good. Saros gameplay looked fantastic, as well as the story trailer elements. Star Wars Galactic Racer looked fun. Out of Worlds, that co-op game, looked good. Orbital's the co-op game, looked good. Phantom Blade Zero continues to look great. You know, and the Exodus gameplay. I feel like you're leaving out... You don't have to like any of those things I just listed. I just feel like you're leaving out a lot of the things that excited me that I thought looked really good. Like I said, to me, it felt like a very, very consistent show up until the end. when we got to the end, I was like, man, I don't know what this is, but this is not the way you end a show. It was a very, very rough landing. It was a very, very rough landing. I really do think that Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic should have been at the end. The only thing I can think is that Disney was like, no, if we're going to pay this kind of money, we want to be at the front. We want to be the first thing. That feels very Disney to me. Like if I'm Jeff Keighley and I got Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic and I got this amazing Divinity trailer, I'm not putting them back to back. I'm having one open the show. Divinity makes sense because of the statue. And then you save Star Wars for the end. That's a great announcement. That's exciting. It's freaking Star Wars. It's the Old Republic. People have been kind of dying to know what's going on. That would have been, I mean, it's not my call, but if I was in charge, I totally would have been like, that's how we end the show. Because that's all anybody would have been talking about. That sound of that lightsaber and the graphics were incredible. I mean, I said it felt like Star Wars just from the music. I was like, is this Star Wars music? Because they use that very faint flute in the background. It's very token Star Wars. I loved it. And then when I saw the seat in the cockpit, I was like, this is Star Wars. They nailed it. They nailed the feel of Star Wars. It was very, very well done. I don't want to play any of the new games they showed, but I've leaned more towards indie games the last few years. I was hoping to get a release date window for Light No Fire. Even Galactic Racers was better than High Guard for closing. Yeah, you could have put Galactic Racers earlier in the show if you wanted to, kind of have Star Wars spread out. Have Galactic Racers a little bit earlier and then end with, Fate of the Old Republic. I'm not even a Star Wars fan. I'll definitely play KOTOR 2. I believe it would be KOTOR 3, would it not? Well, not KOTOR, but that's what people are calling it. They're calling it KOTOR 3, even though it would be FOTOR. Fate of the Old Republic. FOTOR. It's metaphorical. Star Wars and Control 2 are the games that I got excited for. Yeah, I geeked out at Resonant. Absolutely geeked out at Control Resonant. I was so excited. I think now's a perfectly good time to replay it. Didn't they do an update for Control on like the PS5 Pro or something recently? I thought they did. Now is a really great time to crack that game back open. Your name's Fotor? Your name's Taserface? Oh my gosh. Do you think GTA 6 will win a lot of awards next year? I just don't think it's that type of game. Yeah, they did. Lono, play Control on your 5070 Ti rig with all the ray tracing turned up to 11. I know, but I don't play games in here at length. Star Wars and Divinity are the top of my list right now for most anticipated. 007 looks kind of generic. I didn't even include that in my list of good things because, the whole thing felt a little awkward. It just felt a little... I don't know what it was. Maybe there was enough people in the crowd that were too young to know who Lenny Kravitz is. Like, who is this man with this gigantic head? I feel like his head always looks too big for his body. He's as cool gets. He really is cool. He emanates cool. But it looks like his head's like a little too big for his body. Not that I can talk. I haven't got gigantic noggin. But yeah, I didn't think that landed very strong. It was like, oh, that's the villain? Okay. How old is Lenny Kravitz? He's way older than 45. He's just aging incredibly well. He's 61. I'm sure he would take it as an enormous compliment that you think he's 45. I'm 44. Lenny Kravitz is not my age. I was listening to his music when I was in high school. One of the coolest people on the planet, and everyone was like, who is this dude? They should have introed him as Zoe's dad. Yeah, I think the crowd was just too young. They were like, Lenny who? And that's a shame. That's a shame, He's from a bit of a bygone era at this point, He is. He's very cool. He's just got a whole vibe and a whole feel. I have got something in my eye and it's driving me crazy. Ugh. I think I got it. I don't know if I got it. Children. We are surrounded by children. We are. We definitely are. That crowd has no idea who Lenny is. Yeah. Can we get 7 more likes in the video, guys? Thanks for a great turnout today. If you weren't here yesterday for the Game Awards 2025 coverage, I appreciate you being here today and tuning in. We do a daily talk show like this Monday through Friday. It is safe for work. The youngins don't know greatness when they see it, right? You met Lenny in New York City. He's a very humble, normal dude. Yeah, he seems super cool. I, again, just don't think anybody... I think a lot of the crowd, like, maybe didn't know who he was. He didn't seem to get, like, this raucous response. Is Reforge going AI like Linus? I don't know what you mean. Overall, what was your score for the show? I think it would have landed as, like, a solid 8. I think I have to lower it to, like, a 7.5 or so, just because it didn't... that ending really hurt it. It really did. You know? Mila Jovovich, Jeffrey Wright, Lenny Kravitz, they felt like the most awkward moments of the show. It was interesting because Jeffrey Wright is such an exceptional actor. He felt like a fish out of water. He felt a little awkward. Maybe he's just not... Sometimes personality types don't do well in that environment. You can have an exceptional actor who... You put them on a stage under lights and it's live and they kind of like they don't hit their stride. It did feel a little strange, right? Sometimes when they have celebrities, it feels like they're drunk, like they're all partying and then they got to go out and they're like, "Hey!" Like none of the celebrities felt like they had been partying. They all felt like they were sober. That might have been a policy change that they were like, "Listen, we're not going to have open bars in the back before the show starts. We need you guys going out there and walking a straight line, okay?" They might have made a bit of a change. I felt like they were letting people party in the past, and then they'd kind of stagger out there to make their presentation. I think they just don't know how they should be because there is still a little stigma to the gaming crowd. Yeah, like maybe they don't want to come across as like the the cringy, like out of touch people or whatever. But like, I love Jeffrey Wright and Mila Jovovich. I mean, how do you not like her? She's from all the Resident Evil movies, And what's his name? David, is it Harbour? The guy from Stranger Things. I always forget his name. David Harbour, I think is his name. Hideous Kojima. That's right. That's right. Too many games next year for Phantom Blade Zero to register on my radar. Phantom Blade Zero is an interesting one. My gut says I don't know. I get this feeling about it, like it's gonna slip. Harbour had the Selleck mustache. Yeah. He had a nice mustache. He's slimmed down too. He's looking good. He's looking healthy. He looked really good. Like when he slims down, he's got like a real, he's got a real strong face shape. When he gets a little pudgy, he loses that. He's a sharp looking dude. And I thought, man, this guy trimmed down, and he seemed like he was sober. Certain people, you're like, I don't know, man. Were you partying before you came out here? But the Street Fighter crowd was fun. Yeah, Al Pacino was a little rough when he came out. Al Pacino was a little rough when he came out. Yeah. I just seen Flash and No Substance. Phantom Blade Zero to me just seems very ambitious. And the way they've kind of talked about it and the way they've kind of showcased it, I just get a little worried. I'm like, yeah, this one might slip. And if it slips out of September, it could slip out of 2026, because as soon as you get close to Wolverine and Grand Theft Auto 6, that's a dangerous place to be. David Harbour, I think, so he was Santa Claus in the Violent Xmas movie. Yeah. He's had a handful of roles. Andrew Schultz in Street Fighter is a real head scratcher. Who's he playing? Who's he playing in Street Fighter? I can't get the... I need the full list here. Show more. Dan Hibiki? See, because I played... When did he show up in Street Fighter? Because I played like Super Street Fighter back in the day. I don't remember Dan. He must have gotten introduced way later. Yeah. I played during the era of Fei Long and obviously like Chun-Li and Blanca and everybody. But like, yeah, I played Street Fighter 2 and Super Street Fighter. My favorite character was Fei Long. I liked him. He's the biggest joke in Street Fighter. Maybe that's why they picked him. Same with Sakura and Akuma. Yeah, they were like late in the series, were they not? Yeah, I remember seeing artwork for Akuma, and I always thought he looked really cool, but I wasn't playing the game at that point. I didn't know Kyle Mooney was in it. He's that really funny guy from SNL. He's playing Marvin, which... Who the heck is Marvin? Marvin must be like a non-fighting character, I would assume. Kyle Mooney wouldn't really work for any of the fighting, I don't think. He was a joke character, they created to mock clones in other games. Got it. Kyle's haircut's too much. Yeah, but Cody Rhodes is perfect. He just has the look. I just love that they're not taking themselves too seriously. Like, they're totally embracing how Street Fighter's it's kind of campy and kind of cheesy. I love that they're doing that. I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah, the guy playing Zangief is like, it's literally Zangief. It looks like, it's just like, yeah, that's him. Yeah, he probably walked in the room and they're like, you don't even need to read the script. Yeah, put that down. The contract's right here. Just sign it. You're Zangief. Congratulations. 50 Cent was... Oh, no, 50 Cent was the biggest disappointment of the show. Yeah. 50 wasn't there. His hair... His hair as Balrog is something special. They gave him the hairline, bro. I was like, all right. Okay. Well, they probably paid him a pretty penny to look like that. He's like, you're going to do what with my hairline? Freaking Balrog, dude. Oh, my gosh. Didn't we hear that Control 2 is a long time away? Is this Control Resonant a side game? Oh, I don't know. The Control Resonance next year. I don't know if we ever heard that Control was a long way away. It's possible that because they were being so quiet about it, sometimes this happens. Like, people will write an article or do a piece, and they'll speculate that something is a long ways away. They'll speculate it, and then it becomes headcanon for gamers. We're like, oh, yeah, Control 2 is a long way away. Holy frick, Votor teaser was nice. Yes, it was very, very good. So I can't believe Lords of the Fallen got another big update. That's 70 updates now and haven't changed. I'm sorry, charged a penny more. That's a new gold standard for support. Yeah, I wish the CEO wasn't doing what he was doing on Twitter. I'm glad he kind of stopped doing that. Like, he was he helped Signal Boost and spread the lie that they changed Ciri in The Witcher 4 to be prettier, and he deleted his tweet when CD Projekt Red had to come out and be like, we didn't make any changes. Some of these guys that are in game development, you think they would understand. That there's such a thing called lighting. You know? What is this? One segment. Okay. Key details. What am I supposed to do this? Up to a maximum. End date, required number of reads, maximum hours of broadcast. You will not provide advertising service in connection to the campaign. So they're starting to offer sponsorships now on Twitch for trailers and like channel skins. Yeah, they're starting to add like they actually look they could be like good potential things for like a content creator my size. There's also a game I didn't realize. What's this Out of Time game? Is Out of Time on Out of Time was that co-op. Yeah, I remember seeing this. Yeah. I'll have to look at these later. There are a lot of sponsorships now in here on Twitch that look like they don't necessarily require you to do anything other than put a channel skin on and like read an ad. Like that's actually pretty nice. Because sometimes they're like, play this game for an hour and they're like offering like a terrible payout. Check the dollar per CCV. We'll probably have to wait on like a Monday or something where we have better viewership on Twitch because we don't the turnout today isn't we don't want to activate anything when we have like a lighter turnout on Twitch. Fridays are usually a little low key for us over there. 2 more Star Wars games in development on top of KOTOR Remake and Eclipse and probably Jedi Survivor Part 3. Will any of them actually come out? Well, Jedi Survivor Part 3 they were already working on it when Jedi Survivor shipped. So Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, so like Jedi 3. Cameron Monaghan confirmed they were already working on it. It had already been greenlit. They were already moving forward. And that was when Survivor like had just shipped and he was like doing interviews and stuff. So, how to feel about Saros getting delayed by a month? I thought it was interesting that they did it like quietly. I'm always in support of a delay. If you feel like you need an extra month for polish or whatever. Somebody pointed out that that Crimson Desert was landing that day. I think it's probably less to do with that and more to do with the PSSR update. People were immediately jumping on and theorizing. They're like, that's perfectly timed with the current timeline that we've heard about the PSSR update for the Pro. So maybe they want to leverage Saros as a showcase of that to make that like a piece of the marketing. Like, hey, PS5 Pro just got a nice update and Saros is one of our first games showing it off. That I think is a decent theory. It's only a month delay. Obviously, a little disappointed as a huge fan of Returnal and hoping, to jump into Saros like day one. So obviously a little disappointed, but I'm always in support of a game company taking more time if they need it. It would be far better to take a month rather than ship it, and then you got to spend a month like pushing out quality of life updates and bug fixes. It's like just wait the month. I said that about Jedi Survivor. You know what I mean? How many games do you think you completed this year? I think when I added it up, I kept a list. Like I went back through. I think it was, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22. I've completed 22 games. If you include Blueprints and Arc Raiders, 24, but I didn't really complete those games, but I played them quite a bit. Like Arc Raiders, I have over 30 hours in. Blueprints, my wife and I really enjoyed for about 12 hours, and then it got a little RNG, and we were just like, oh, we had fun with this. We solved puzzles and enjoyed our time, and we put it down. So 22 games that I rolled credits on this year, and then I would say put a substantive amount of time into 24 if you include Blueprints and Arc Raiders. So yeah. They want to make sure Saros is just right. Yeah. Did you see Borderlands pushed out an update with a huge performance improvement on PC? Weird because Randy said the game was already optimized. Yeah, he said a lot of things, didn't he? 22, you're only a real gamer if you finish 23 or more. Yeah, I mean, I know that was like an interesting notion and claim that like people were running with about me, that like I don't play games or whatever. I'm not really sure where that came from. I made sure to tweet out my wrap up from PlayStation. I played 112 games, 768 trophies, hours played 938. So, you know, close to 1,000 hours. Well, for the whole year too, because I'm going to hit 1,000 hours before the year is up. I don't know. I feel like, and now I did commit to playing more games this year. I adjusted my schedule so that I could. I think a lot of people that were sort of being critical of the fact that I didn't play a lot of games, I think they were just really unaware of what we were dealing with. From about 2021 to last year, we were kind of all hands on deck trying to kind of rebuild the brand and get things back on course. So what that would mean is I would end streams with you guys and I wouldn't have time to go play something. I'd have to like write a script, research, make a video, like really trying to hit some momentum. And we're just in a better place now with structure of the day. I have a little bit more time now to play games. Yeah, that's just PlayStation. 938 hours on PlayStation. So it doesn't include any of the games I played on Steam. I didn't really play much Steam or Xbox, though. My Xbox wrap-up is probably nothing. Like, because, well, no, it's probably all Fortnite. Because my daughter is the only one who boots up the Xbox now, and she plays on my account. She plays Fortnite over there because it has all my skins. I think you finished more games than they did, so who gives an F what they think or say? I think it's understandable if you see somebody covering gaming and you feel like they don't ever play games, because I definitely think there are some creators out there who are grifting and they're not really playing games, right? They're just sort of taking advantage of the fact that like gaming is a hot topic and there's a lot of hot, things to discuss. So I completely think it's fine and fair to be like, hey man, you're covering the gaming industry and you're like never booting up and playing games. I think there are people that you can actually lobby that criticism at. I think there was a couple of years there where I wasn't completing a lot of games, largely not because I was like grifting. I didn't have time, And then if you look back in the years that I covered Destiny, my completion of games was a lot lower as well because like I just didn't have time. I was always in Destiny. When you're a single, person covering single games, that's just the nature of it. Like anybody who's like a full-time creator of a game, like if you're making videos every day, it's just more difficult, it's just a challenge to complete those games. So like I think to some degree there was a legitimacy to a criticism of like, hey, you're covering games full time and you rolled credits on like 7 games last year or something like that, which is still a pretty good amount. I actually don't know what it was most of those years. I don't know how many games I was finishing. I just know this year I intentionally structured things and I was like, you know what? I'm going to work on my backlog and I'm going to complete more games this year. And I did. I worked through the backlog and beat games like Final Fantasy 16 and Plague Tale Requiem and Kena Bridge of Spirits and Tales of Iron 1 and, Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolia. Like I intentionally went back and grabbed games that like I had known I wanted to beat. Space Marine 2, that, went back and beat that because they updated it for the Pro. And that was super fun co-op with my wife. Not to mention all the family time as well. Oh yeah, what's not included in those gamer hours is all the hours I spent on the Switch 2. Yeah, we played the Switch 2 a lot. Yeah, Donkey Kong's not included in that. 25 to 30 hours there. Mario Kart World with my wife and the kiddos. And what else did I play on the Switch? Oh, we're playing Mario Galaxy 1 right now. That's been really fun. That is just such a timeless game. Such a timeless game. So, make sure it's $1 CCV. Yeah, I don't know where they even put that. It looks like it's $1.80 per 10 completed views is what they're saying, with a maximum of 2320. That would mean you'd need 12 times 10 completed views. I think we could easily get that in a given. Yeah, 120 views. Yeah. These are very reasonable sponsorships for somebody my size. Like, they're not over the moon, but they're, I think they're reasonable. And you also play Zelda. I played Zelda a little bit, but I didn't want to get back into it and then back out of it. I need to find a time where like I can just really, really go full bore into The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's hard being a dad, having a business, being a husband, and making time for games. It really is. It really is, man. Casual dad gamer is a thing. It's totally a thing. Yeah. Winner of the night, No Man's Sky, best ongoing game. Yeah, I was really excited that they were able to win that because I told people, I said, they have done so many significant things technologically in No Man's Sky. Like, I wish I had time to play that game, but I just don't. Like, No Man's Sky is definitely a game where you've got to dump a ton of hours into it to kind of extract all the value out. You can't, like, dabble in No Man's Sky. I wish the co-op experience was like a teeny... Well, no, it wouldn't really matter. Madam would not be able to play that game. I don't think she would really like it. There's just too much going on. She liked Satisfactory because she could, like, go and gather stuff and bring it back and go and gather stuff and bring it back. Like, that was an enjoyable loop for her. You tend to start too many games and you drift before finishing them. That's why I don't start certain games. Like, there's going to be a point in time where I'm kind of, like, in the mood for the Battlefield 6 campaign, and then I'm going to play it. I did not want to start it and then just kind of leave it hanging after like an hour because I just wasn't in the mood for it. And I have a strong feeling I'm going to enjoy it. It's not very long, but I need to wait until I'm kind of in the mood for it, It's just they were possibly screwing people out of industry standard. Yeah, I saw people tweeting about it. I saw Zach Busey tweeting about it, and they're probably better suited for someone my size. If you're a pretty large creator pulling pretty high views on Twitch, some of those offers are probably not big enough. They have agents that usually that negotiate those types of deals anyway. Tomb Raider. Yeah, the Tomb Raider stuff looked fine, but I had to kind of agree with one of the assessments. The one trailer... Somebody said it literally looked like they ran her through like one of those cheesy filters to like make her look Instagramified or something. Something's wrong here. Like, something's not right. I'm not kidding you. It literally feels like they went back through and did something to her face at the last minute. Everything else looks right. Her body, her clothes, her texture, like of the clothes and the hair and the guns, it all looks like right. I mean, and then look at this person. Let's see. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, look at the quality of this design and this face, and then let's see if we can get a freeze frame. Let's see if we can get it. Hang on. I don't know. She looks actually much better there. This looks fine to me. There was just something extremely off about this first debut. I'm not sure what's going on. Something's not right with the lighting. It's almost like her face looks flat. It's like a flat image slapped on top. It doesn't look right. She looks so much better later when she's climbing. She's kind of channeling Millie Bobby Brown a little bit here. Yeah, I think she looks great. It's just that first introduction, I'm like, what's going on with her face? Like, what did they do? It's literally like they just like threw like a filter on or something. They tried too hard to make her pretty, but absolutely failed. I think she looks fine in the later section. It's just that first introduction. Maybe you're just overanalyzing it. I don't think anybody asked. But everybody responded to this. Not everybody. A lot of people responded to this negatively. There's something awkward about it. The face just before this looks realistic. And this looks very like plasticky or something. It looks disjointed from the rest of her body. Like she looks manly. There it is. There's one, chat. There's one. Yeah, she looks so manly. Yeah. She looks manly. You know what I mean? That's what I think when I look at this. She looks masculine, bro. Something with the eyes. Yeah, it's got a flatness to it. Because the opener, the entire sequence with this character here, look how realistic that looks. That's fantastic. You know, and this is all well and good. I kind of like they're giving her a little bit of mobility. You know what it is? Her eyes don't move. They don't move. They don't blink. They're just, there's a deadness to them. That's what it is. It's that her eyes just don't move. They are just flat and like non-expressive. You know what I mean? And then here it looks so much better. There's like a depth to her eyes and a realism to them. That's what it is. There's a flatness. It's like they're not. It's like they're not moving. They're not interacting with the lighting or anything. She kind of reminds me of like a porcelain doll. Yeah. There's a stiffness in some of the later sections too, with like her movement and stuff. There's a bit of a stiffness, and so obviously they can polish that before it comes out, but we'll have to wait and see. Because I was like, hey, they're honoring the look and the vibe of Lara Croft. They really are. Like, it looks and feels like her. You're not going to gain... If anybody tries to complain that they're, like, not making her pretty enough or her outfit's wrong, I mean, her outfit's 1-to-1. She's buxom. She's shapely. She's pretty. They're not shying away from her having, like, cleavage and stuff. They are absolutely being like, hey, this is what Lara Croft looked like in the early games. It was a little more pixelated. So, using the word stiffness to talk about Lara Croft is like, yeah. Shut up, Joker Quinn. Yeah, that is a choice. You are correct. Hang on one second here. Available until. Yeah, this is a decline. Can I just hit decline? Yeah, that's a decline. There we go. Okay, invitations. Okay. I feel sorry for character designers right now. They can't win no matter what they do. I need more evidence of boob physics. Is it on par with Stellar Blade? No, I don't think they're going to do that. I certainly don't think they're going to do that, which I think is probably the right call. What are we at here? Okay, give me 1 second here. This was a custom flute that Pedro built for the Game Awards. Yeah, the PVC one that he had. Yeah. Yeah. His PVC flute was something. It certainly was something. I love that guy, man. Brings good vibes to the stage. Excuse me. Okay, let me get the We are going to do a fun segment today as part of the member incentive you guys crushed this week. The stretch goal is obviously still kind of hanging out there. You guys went so crazy yesterday. No, I don't think there's any renewals or gifteds left, which is totally fine. You can save everything for next week if you want. We're closing in on that 1,000. But the 1,000 goal, I think, was for last night. Creature was throwing that out there as like a, hey, if you guys go nuts, he would join me. That offer's off the table now. I actually think it'll probably be better anyway, to just have me playing Dispatch by myself is probably gonna flow better anyway. It'd be I don't really know how you set up something like that to play. It would be like when Madam and I play, right? Debating on decisions and stuff. Okay, get that scheduled. You put a question, okay? Yo, Roadkill, let's go smash them buttons. Thank you, Roadkill, for renewing your membership. I greatly appreciate it. February alone has like 3 or 4 games. Yes. It's going to be a pretty full year. We dropped frames scheduling that? Jiminy Christmas. Their new scheduling tool is just a little bit more demanding. I guess I'll just start scheduling on the gaming rig instead. I don't like dropping frames. I don't like messing with the broadcast like that. Silverblade 2 teaser would have been such a better closer. I mean, I personally think what they should have done is they should have done something with the Star Wars thing. They should have saved the Star Wars thing, to the very, very end. That's what I think they should have done, personally. It makes more sense to me to save that for the end as opposed to whatever it was that they did. Because if you think about it, like, it's fine to have like a live service shooter announcement. Like, I don't want it to make it seem like I was pretty hard on the game. And deservedly so. I think some of these games, people have just got to admit, like, you're sort of way out of touch with what people want, right? But I also think that it's where you place it in the show that matters. Like, you can't act like a new live service shooter is like this big deal. Does that make sense? If you're going to do that, then I think what you need to do is you need to think about like where you place it in the show so that you can set it up for, maximum success of the reveal. Like, if you're like, yeah, we're going to say this for the very, very end, and you're like, yeah, but it's like a live service shooter. Like, that doesn't seem like that's going to have like big punch. It's not the sequel or the expansion or the addition to an already successful live service shooter where fans are going to be super excited. You're really trusting some brand new IP to really carry a lot of weight. You know what I mean? You really are. Like, I don't know if that's a good idea. To be like, yeah, we're gonna put this on your shoulders. Hang on. Okay. Like, if you're a brand new IP, I think that's pretty daunting to be like, yeah, we're going to be expected to kind of carry the weight of this entire sort of show ender, and we're a brand new IP. Nobody knows who we are. Nobody knows what we're doing. Nobody knows if our game's going to be any good. Does that make sense? It's like, I don't know. I just think philosophically, what's good, Super Stua? Philosophically, it's like, yeah, I mean, you could have put that live service game earlier in the show and people wouldn't have fixated on it so much, and it might have had a slightly better reception. I still don't think the reception would have been that good, because I think there's a general fatigue with those type of games right now. I think people are just kind of over it. They're like, yeah, we don't really care for these games. We're not really looking for these types of games. And, you know, sadly, a lot of these games are too far in production to learn that lesson. Does that make sense? It's like, well, yeah, we kind of know that now after watching what has happened with other games. You could argue that, yeah, a lot of these studios now know and are now keenly aware that these types of games are just not getting good receptibility right now. But they're so far in development that there's not a whole lot you can do. You know, it's just kind of over. It's like, well, you got to ship it. You got to ship the game. You can't crap or get off the pot kind of a situation. Like, you can't just not ship it. Now, big studio, big publisher, you know, like what's going on with Marathon, I have it on good authority. Marathon's going forward internally. Like, PlayStation, you know, still thinks that it should come to market. You know, but when you're that size, when you're PlayStation, I think you could totally get away with not shipping Marathon. I don't think the problem was a new IP. I think the problem was also a new studio that's banking on prior work to carry. Because last year ended with Intergalactic, which was a brand new IP. Yeah, but when you're Naughty Dog, there's a lot of weight there. Like if Santa Monica, if Guerrilla, if id Software, if, you know, industry veteran studios like, hey, we're new IP, that's got way more weight than, yeah, some people that left this really great studio that's got this great history, yeah, they're making a game. You know, if they're like, yeah, people that used to work at Naughty Dog made a studio and they're making a new game, like that wouldn't have carried near the amount of weight that Naughty Dog themselves carry. Like same with Rockstar, right? Like Rockstar, you had people leave Rockstar and make Mind's Eye. I don't think that really carried a whole lot of weight with people. Well, it did carry weight with people in the early days when I was kind of criticizing Mind's Eye. They were like, I don't know, it's Leslie Benzies, man. I was like, okay, I don't know if that's going to make a lick of a difference. Titanfall and Apex carries weight? I don't think so. I don't think it carries weight because it's some other studio. It's not Respawn. It's, people that worked on Titanfall and Apex. Like, I don't think they carry weight because it's not even the dev. Like, you could, it would be like having a spin-off of people from, Bungie or anywhere. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, you worked on Halo, you worked on Destiny. I don't think it carries weight when you divorce it from the studio. I think that's where you kind of lose, at least me personally. I think it's fair for me to say this. I think the general public is just kind of like, who the heck cares if you're devs that left the studio and are now making a game? Look at the new dev by the Left 4 Dead. Yeah, look at the game by the Left 4 Dead guys. It's like, I don't know how to phrase this, and I don't want this to sound offensive, but I feel like there are dudes who are kind of aging out of the industry. They were awesome at a time. There was a time where their ideas and the stuff they were making was hot as hot gets. And I feel like they still think they can just kind of do that thing. Like the vibe that I got from that 4-loop game, I was like, yeah, this kind of tracks. It's from the guy that did Left 4 Dead. It doesn't really feel like you've left that era. Does that make sense? Yeah, Todd Howard would be a good example of this. I'm like, I feel like you're kind of stuck back there. Like, you were pivotal in the history of gaming and did some amazing things. But I feel like you're kind of stuck back there. You're still insisting upon and viewing things and thinking about things in that framework. And you haven't really stepped forward. And it's not like ageism. I'm not like, oh, you're too old. It's like I feel like you're philosophically aging out of the industry. And I got that vibe from that 4-loop game. I'm like, yeah, this kind of feels like somebody who worked on Left 4 Dead, and you really haven't transcended out of that era of time. cheesy, corny dialogue, very, very rote, rehearsed gameplay loop, very, very stiff animations. Like, this looks like the guys that made Left 4 Dead to me. It's kind of like movie directors. They start strong and slowly they get worse over time. I don't know if movie directors get worse over time. I think in movie direction in particular, I think success can turn somebody into this monolith that nobody wants to say no to. Like, we know that happened with George Lucas and the prequels. Like, we've got a pretty good documentary on the idea that, like, he just had so much control and he was surrounded by yes men because he's this monolith in the history of film. And so I think that happens in movies a lot. And I think in game design, I think some of it's not like, oh, they're a monolith. I mean, that might be true of Todd Howard, that he's too revered and respected that nobody will push back on what he's saying, right? Like, hey, man, your design philosophy is kind of 20 years old at this point. You got to kind of update it a little bit. I don't know. I don't feel like it's their age. It's like a philosophical, like, view of things where, like, you see the game and it just has this dated feel to it. Like, that 4-loop game literally feels like a game that would have come out when Left 4 Dead was, like, all the rage. And now I'm just kind of like, I don't think this has legs. I don't think anybody's going to play this for very long. A $5 super chat from the OA. Maybe not aging out, but some devs totally get stuck in a place and they never move forward. Yeah, aging's out maybe isn't the right phrase. It's like their philosophy's aging out. It's not like they're aging out. It's like, yeah, you know, that doesn't really work now. That feels like something from the early 2000s, you know? Because there's an era of time where you could just do, like, gritty, irreverent bro shooter and you'd be popular. Just this gritty, irreverent bro shooter and people would play it. Whether it was Left 4 Dead or sort of any of those other games back there like that, like the ones where you're just kind of like plowing through thousands of zombies, you know, like a Dead Rising or something. Or like a Just Cause, you know, like almost like an explosion, you know, demolition simulator kind of thing. It's like there was a time where that's all you really needed to do was give it like irreverent bro vibes where you're just shooting stuff and blowing stuff up. And it was sort of like, it was kind of like a ripple effect from like the 90s movies that we all grew up watching, right? We all grew up watching like Rambo and Terminator and Predator, you know, like bro, shooter, you know, yeah, blah, shoot stuff. And then all those people that watch those movies make games, and you get games like Duke Nukem and others that are like bro shooter vibes. And now you make a game that has that vibe, and it's kind of like, yeah, this feels kind of silly. This feels kind of goofy. And 4-loop kind of had that feel to it. It's like Helldivers 2 kind of nailed the idea of like a knock-around co-op game with the boys. Silly, goofy, but also very entertaining and fun, and you know, it's very cinematic. I feel like some of these other games, like if Helldivers had that stiff, rigid, sort of dated feel, it wouldn't have worked. Like the reason that Helldivers works is because there's like almost like this bombast to it. There's this, I don't know, there's this cinematic quality to it. Funny, I said that Bethesda and Todd Howard were trapped in 2011 gameplay loops and was told that they were a staple of Western RPGs, but now everyone seems to be echoing why I shot down Starfield from announcement. Yeah, I mean, with Starfield, I needed to get into the game and play it and kind of like get into the guts and get a feel for it. But Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic may not release until at least 2030, according to Jason Schreier. I said that this morning. I said it's kind of a bittersweet announcement. If you go to StarWars.com and you read the interview, they say that it's still in the early stages of development. And I'm like, well, for frick's sake, that means the game could be 5 years from coming out. It's a bittersweet announcement to like finally hear about what's going on with the Old Republic as a franchise. And you're like, You don't have anything other than a cinematic teaser, and according to the official interview on StarWars.com, the game is still in very early stages of development, meaning like you basically just got started. So it could easily be 5 years away. I mean, that's a bittersweet announcement if I've ever seen one. It's like, yeah, we've been waiting for so long. It's like, yeah, you're going to wait a little bit longer. How much longer? About 5 years. The studio's only like a year old. Yeah. Yeah. That's bittersweet. It's like, it's great and it's exciting, but then when you kind of like peel back the onion and the excitement after the announcement kind of fades, it's like, oh, this is nowhere near coming out. This is basically a cinematic teaser. Like, you know, that kind of pumps the brakes on the hype train a little bit, I think. Just a little bit. Like, it's not devastating, but it's kind of like... So basically it'd be out next gen. It's very possible. Very possible. Eclipse and KOTOR did the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. This is I'm telling you, I've said this before, there's a serious problem anytime there's a big corporation involved, because a lot of this could be coming from Disney. Disney could be like, make an announcement. We want people hyped about Star Wars video games. So you get an Eclipse announcement. You got the KOTOR announcement. Now you got the FOTOR announcement. And we have zero timeline for any of it. We haven't have a freaking clue about any of it. Lego Game says, just to remind everyone, we still barely seen the rest of this game. TT is holding a lot back for Lego Batman. The 3 other islands are yet to be revealed, the upgrade system, and so much more. We are in for something truly special on May 29th. Yeah, I think the Lego Batman's going to be a Game of the Year nominated game. I don't think it could win. It'll win Family. It'll probably win Family Game of the Year, unless some mainline Nintendo game comes out next year and crushes it. I think Batman's going to be the front runner for that category. And I think it's likely going to snag that Game of the Year nom. It'll take that Nintendo spot. Yeah, I think that game is showing a lot of promise. It'll probably be hailed as the best Lego game to date. Would be my estimation based on everything we've seen. I mean, it looks like all the Arkham games and Lego like got put into a blender. You know what I mean? Are people calling me high? I wouldn't have called you high. From moment one, I was like, yo, this is a video game right here, boys. This Batman Lego game looks really good. Do people really enjoy the Lego games? The Star Wars Lego games were excellent. They were just so fun, throwaway, silly. The Skywalker Saga was a good start about, like, can we make a more serious Lego game that's actually pretty robust and far-reaching? It just wasn't paced very well. The Skywalker Saga is an enormous game. It just isn't paced very well. It's awkward, the way that they sort of set up the hubs and the stories and stuff. It doesn't flow very well. Check out this guy's hot take. What's this about? GTA? Hang on. Wrong chat. Considering the little information we have on hand, if GTA 6 had come out this year, do you think it would have beaten Expedition 33? This guy says 100%. Anybody that says otherwise is mad and in denial. GTA 6 will 100% be a better game. Expedition 33 hype feels so forced. I haven't heard anybody talk about this game outside of the internet. Not a single person. Game awards are paid for just like music and movie awards, though. Rockstar doesn't need to do that to be successful. I found this to be interesting last night, and I asked this guy a question. I kind of posed the question in the YouTube chat. I didn't say it during the broadcast because I never, in the middle of a show like that, I don't want to start a debate with somebody. I kind of wanted to, but like I didn't want to disrupt the show. Yeah, the Horizon Lego game was fine. It wasn't like a traditional Lego game, though. It was more of like a top-down action, very, very family action game. My son loved it and beat it. I didn't think it was that good. But this is something I posed to the guy in the chat last night. Why are you watching the Game Awards if all it takes is something winning that you don't think deserves to win for you to act like the entire event is illegitimate? Like, if the event is only legitimate if the game that you think deserves to win wins, if like the entire event's illegitimate if something else wins, then why are you watching to begin with? It seems like a waste of your time. Like, it seems like you are literally watching for emotional validation, and if you don't get it, you reject the entire edifice. Oh, it's all paid for. It's all dumb. It's all rigged. It's all blah. It's like, I don't know why you'd watch then. There's no way every single thing's going to win that you think should win. The main story of Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is 15 hours long. The narrative is broken up into 6 chapters and eras. That's pretty good for a Lego game. That's pretty good length of time for a Lego game. That's not bad at all. Yeah, people are responding to the delay of Saros, and they're all saying that they're hearing it has to do with the PSSR update. I think that's a decent theory. When are you going to complete the new content for Expedition 33? I don't know. Some games, when I roll credits on them, I just have had such a good time with them, I don't feel the need to go back and play the additive stuff. Like, I don't know. The story and everything was just so compelling and so excellent. I just did not feel the need. I don't know if I really feel the need to go back and play the additive content. Some games I just don't do that. I don't know. It's like I don't feel the draw. I'm like, no, I had a great time. I had a very, very, it's my almost my favorite game this year. It's basically tied for first. And I don't feel the need to go back and play the additive content. Are most Lego games around 15 hours? I actually don't know. Yeah, Saros got delayed by 1 month. Yeah. It was coming out in March, and now it's coming out April 30th. So it seems to be related. Because people are saying, oh, that's when the PSSR update's going out. I'm like, okay. If that's why they delayed it. I'm in full support of taking as much time as you need. It seems weird that they announced the release date and then, I don't know, maybe they got ahead of themselves. Maybe the marketing was outdated and they're like, hey, wait, we haven't really spoke with the PSSR team, and then they do, and they're like, oh, we should probably shuffle this. I thought PSSR 2 was January. I don't know when it is. PSSR update in 2026. I thought somebody said March. PSSR update rumored to be a major update. PSSR 2 is coming to the Pro, bringing significantly better quality. I feel like I remember seeing March. Yo, Jason with 32 months. NorCal Garbage Man here. I thought the show was great last night. Can't wait for Star Wars, Resident Evil 9, and both Tomb Raider games look great. Welcome back. Let me add you to the total. We're sitting at 936 on the week. I'm actually not seeing any claims about January or March, just that it's coming in 2026. I'm assuming because you remember, we heard a few months back that PS5 Pro would get a massive update in January. I don't remember hearing that. Were people assuming January because they were talking about in the new year, and were they just associating new year with January? Just fine for me. Gives me more time for RE9. They did that with God of War 2018 too, after giving a release date. Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal. It's not like some kind of a controversy. It's just, it's just one of those things. Let's see here. Could be crossing articles. It's hard to remember because sometimes we read something that's speculative and then it kind of gets baked into our sort of headcanon about it. So the OA with a question here says, any games you would fire up and give another go or another shot after PSSR 2? I mean, I didn't play anything that I thought was like, oh, this is so bad, I really hope they update PSSR 2 or PSSR or whatever. I've not really played anything where I felt that way, where it's like, oh man, I hope they really update this. There were a handful of games, obviously, that came out and had some issues and needed to be addressed. But I don't think I like shelved something and was like, yeah, I'll have to come back to this when they update PSSR. So I always saw that it was a late spring from a guy that I won't mention names. I always saw that it was a late spring. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Big Pack fan. Is PSSR 2 a mix of PSSR and FSR 4? The way that Mark Cerny spoke about it, it seems like they're bringing like the algorithm advancements or whatever that they discovered in FSR 4. They're going to implement some of that into PSSR 2. But some of what they discovered with FSR 4 also came from PSSR. It's almost like a technological tennis match. Like they're kind of kicking the ball back and forth. You don't kick the ball in tennis. I know that. Sorry. I know Zubair's already yelling. They're kind of hitting the ball back and forth. It's like the first major thing to come out of Project Amethyst was FSR 4, and I believe they had said that that was somewhat related to discoveries they'd made from PSSR. Like they're working on this, and like, oh, this could help this, and then they make these advancements in FSR 4, and they're like, oh, we can turn back around and implement that algorithm into PSSR. So I think it's just going to keep doing that. I think that's part of the Project Amethyst benefit is that they're sort of collaborating on both of each other's technology to a degree. I always saw the time frame for update was late spring. Yeah, I know you're not allowed. You said I always saw that from a guy that I won't mention names. So like, are you saying like a source or a YouTuber or something? If you did kick it, tennis would be more interesting. It'd be a really inaccurate game. That actually would be a pretty good game, like soccer tennis, like get two guys that are really, really good with ball control. It might be a really short game. You know what I mean? It's like you're just never going to be fast enough to get to somebody just like drilling the ball with the solid, They like bring their foot up over it and bam. It's like you're never going to get to it. I don't know why people are assuming that GTA 6 is a lock for Game of the Year. It's not like Rockstar Games always win these awards. Sorry, I'm still here. Continue to took time to say. Oh, you asked. Hang on. Did anyone see the Muppets were all examples of the games? There were some of them, not all. I don't understand the question. This year was decent gaming for me, but I'm really looking forward to next year because there's way more games that I'm actually interested and excited about playing. Who me? No, I'm talking about the Game Awards. Yeah, you said, did anyone see the Muppets Rolf said examples of the games they have there, some of them, not all, and Kingdom Hearts was one of them. I think if I try to understand your question, you're saying, were there lots of games missing, like games that were mentioned in the Muppet song? There's a double post, Wilbur. Just look a little bit up there. Next year might be the most stacked year we've had since like 1998 or 2004. Yeah, I think next year is going to be more stacked than this year. I wouldn't be surprised if there's also some surprises next year because people are just kind of like waiting and kind of measuring like when they should land. Unless Rockstar has pulled a complete 180, my money says no one wants their game content and language being praised on a live stage. Could be wrong. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 won, and it's got a lot of, like, very, very adult stuff, and it won Game of the Year. I don't know if you could argue that, like, GTA 6 is going to go, like, that far out of bounds compared to, like, a Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, for Pete's sakes, the Divinity trailer was incredibly violent, and there was straight up sexy times happening in that trailer. Like, moaning and everything. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if the event is that stringent that they're not going to let GTA 6 win because, like, you can, like, get it on in the game or whatever. Even if you're, like, dealing drugs and, like, maybe, like, you know, shooting cops or something. Sell crack, pick up whores in Baldur's Gate 3. Again, I don't know if a game where you're, like, selling drugs is going to put you outside of the bounds when you've got games like Baldur's Gate where, I don't know. There's a whole lot going on in Baldur's Gate that I wouldn't consider to be, like, quote-unquote, like, family-friendly. And again, that Divinity trailer tells me that, like, I don't think Jeff is, like, really strict about what they show or put on the main stage. That Divinity trailer was kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, man. I don't know. Somebody's going to be like, we draw the line at selling drugs. You know, we've given awards to games that have, like, pretty wanton sexual content in it, as well as violence. We draw the line at selling drugs. Like, that doesn't, I don't know. That feels like something out of, like, the Dare era. You know what I mean? Nancy Reagan's not the first lady anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's, like, a unique adjustment of the moral compass of the event in the gaming community to be like, we're okay with all this other stuff, but we are not okay, you know, with criminal activity like dealing drugs, you know. I don't think that's going to disqualify GTA at all. Technically, the first thing to come out of Project Amethyst is PSSR. Prior to PSSR, AMD didn't have any machine learning upscaling, and they were actively against going to a machine learning model. Really? Most games you commit murder, so not too much lower you can go than that already. Yeah, I'm trying to think of games that win, or games that are praised, or games that are voted for, where, like, you can totally, like, kill, murder, betray, lie, steal, do all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be like, yeah, Grand Theft Auto goes too far. You know, now maybe if Grand Theft Auto has you doing stuff that's, like, way outside of bounds, like, I don't know if they have you, like, you know, getting into, like, shootouts and, like, a kid dies or something. I just don't know. I'm not sure if there's like a moral compass filter for the event that would disqualify it. Given what I saw last night, especially, the Divinity trailer really makes me think, no. The body count is insane in TLU 2. Yeah, like, TLU 2 won Game of the Year, and that game is, like, really violent. And, yeah, you're not, like, selling drugs, but, like, there's some pretty crazy stuff that happens in that game. Ever seen some RP servers that get so far out of bounds? Right, but that would almost be like saying Arc Raiders won't, like, let's just go back in time a couple of days. That'd be like saying, well, Arc Raiders isn't going to get nominated for Multiplayer Game of the Year because it gets so toxic, or these games get toxic and people are mean and say nasty stuff. Like, in a role-playing server, I don't know if that's an indictment of the game. Like, I don't know if that would reflect on the game getting voted or whatever. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if you could attach the role-play servers and, like, what people do in the role-play servers, like, to the game itself and be like, yeah, we don't want that game to win or get nominated. The other thing you have to consider is the marketing aspect of this. Jeff Keighley is going to want GTA 6 to get tons of nominations. I'm not saying he's going to, like, stack the deck or rig it. I'm saying he is not going to keep it from the podium because he knows what that means for eyeballs, interest, excitement. When people hear GTA 6 has been nominated for 6 or 7 awards or whatever, lots of people are going to tune in and watch. if we take what you're saying to its logical end, and there's some sort of a standard that they're like, yeah, we don't really want that game to get recognized, nominated, or win, that would actively harm his event to a pretty significant degree. It's going to be like the biggest game of the decade. I feel like they're going to be able to kind of write their own check at events like that. I don't think you'd want to get in its way. You'd be like, this game is crazy. You can do crazy stuff. And that's one of the reasons it's so popular. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. We are going to shift gears here in just a few minutes, but I need a quick break, and then we're going to shift gears to one of the incentives. You guys can kind of help that continue to be a thing here. We appreciate it. And we're close to that 3-hour mark. We like to keep some of these, we like to keep live streams right around that length of time. So give me just a quick second. Okay. Lono's getting a secret beer? No, it's 1 in the afternoon. I ain't having a beer. I'll have some drinks with y'all tonight. Well, I ain't doing that right now. Are you crazy? Okay. Let me get everything set here. Okay. Okay. This is pretty well timed too, with like Saros getting more gameplay last night. All right. Gotta come here and turn on the console. There we go. So the premise here is simple, kind of. No beer, just the Kraken. I am not having Kraken at 1 in the afternoon. Jiminy Christmas. The premise here is very, very simple. I have to pick everything up. And the only exception we're going to make is, well, I guess no. I can't remember. Did we say we were going to try it first where I could get critical malfunctions, and if it becomes too difficult and like doesn't really function as a challenge, are we then going to say, okay, you cannot pick up malignant items once you have 2 malfunctions? I think that's what we said. I think we said, like, no, we're going to try some runs where you can totally get a critical malfunction. But if it becomes too absurd, then you can stop picking up malignant items once you have 2 malfunctions. I think that's what we said, is we'll dial that particular rule back if we feel like it's too restrictive and too punishing. But I think that's the way we're going to start. Is the basic rule is simple. Before I leave a room, I have to pick everything up, right? The other thing this means is, and we have to think in the realm of weapons, in the realm of weapons, if I find a new weapon, I have to pick it up. That doesn't mean I can like circle back to the room later and be like, oh, a new weapon, because now it's an old weapon, right? I think we're in agreement about that as well, is that once, if something drops, then I've got to pick it up. I remember a 1-room buffer. Well, I think we said, yeah, we were going to dice roll the shop. Yes. 1 through 5 is through the items, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5's the integrity upgrade, and then 6 is I get to choose, right? Tomb Raider's Catalyst takes place years after 2008's Underworld, finally continuing Lara Croft's story from the Legend trilogy. Oh, they're adding on to the trilogy. I didn't know they were doing that with that game. You have to be a Hoover tonight since Madam isn't here. I'm not going to get sloshed, man. That doesn't lead to good streams, bro. I'm a freaking lightweight. We will have fun tonight in Dispatch. We will also be controlled tonight playing Dispatch. 6 is buy nothing. No, I think his 6 is I get to choose. 1 through 5 is, you know, the items, and then 6 is I get to choose. So here's my current stats in Returnal. 33 out of 38 trophies, a 92%, and 164 hours. So, okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to redirect. Guys, do me a favor, and these kind of segments are super, super fun, but we don't do gameplay on the channel a lot. So come over, hang out, and smash the like button once you get over there. And then I'll put the link in chat, and I'll also redirect you. Let me know if redirect is any better now with this new back end that they've updated. It might be smoother. Okay, so let me pause my music, and then I'll have to switch Rage runs challenge. We'll switch to Returnal over there on Twitch. Okay. And then we will send the announcement in the Discord. This was something that you guys unlocked with the member incentive this week. I decided to give you 2 segments since Madam can't be here tonight. All right, there's a link in chat, or you can ride the redirect. Oh, here, I need to get out of the way. Yeah, you don't need to see the timer necessarily, but I like you guys being able to see the goal and what you guys have achieved. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for checking out this video. This is going to be a very unique form of Returnal gameplay. The premise is simple. I have to pick up everything, and we are going to restart in Biome 1, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go in here and send me back to Biome 1. I have to pick up everything. If it's a new weapon, I have to pick it up. If it's a malignant item, I have to pick it up. If critical failures from too many malfunctions makes this sort of an unfun experience or too challenging, we will make that exception eventually where I won't have to pick up malignant items if I have 2 malfunctions. So we'll make that exception if we feel like it's not going very well. This is meant to be fun. I've played over 160 hours of Returnal. I played over 160 hours of Returnal. I have 5 of the weapons at 100% out of the 10 in the game. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect folks over. And as you guys come over, please make sure you are hitting that like button. I appreciate you guys so much and the support of the channel recently.